What is going on, people? Welcome once again to Raw Boxing TV. Once again, we're here, people. Like to remind you guys to hit the button, the like button as you come in. Yeah. Hope everybody's doing good at this side. On your side of the screen, I'm doing well on my side of the screen. Did not work today, so I said, you know what? I'm home. Work has me very busy, away from the cameras. Since I'm another day at home, I might as well put the time in. And as you can see, we've been working. We have been bringing you guys interview. We've been interacting with other channels. We have been bringing in fighters. We have been allowing you guys to come in and interact with the fighters. As of now, it's been good, in my opinion. So we're gonna wait a little bit just to see if people come in. It doesn't matter if they don't come in. If one of you is here, that's what we're gonna do it with. That's what we're gonna rock it with. It does not matter to me. Just want to remind you as you come in to hit the thumbs up if you do not mind. If you wish to support the channel, that's one of the ways you can do it. If you wish to support the channel monetarily, Cash App at $ Raw Boxing TV. Thank you so much for being here. Fernando Contreras, my boy Canelo Loco Sports. Salutes to all of you guys. Thank you for being here. We'll wait just a few minutes to allow the crowd to get the notifications from YouTube and come in, man. It's been pretty good in boxing, man. Very good in boxing. Regardless of what people say about the cards. G Funky in the house. Nopal in the house. Everybody subscribe to G Funky. Everybody subscribe to Canelo Loco Sports. Anybody else in the chat does videos, let me know, because you need to be asked to be subscribed. People need to subscribe to you. We need to create this new wave of content creators that speak boxing and purely boxing. And when there is any type of bias, we attack the bias with nothing but factual truth that comes out of boxing. Andres Rodrigo, what's up, my brother? Thank you for being here tonight. I hope everybody's doing great, man. Had a doctor's appointment this morning. I couldn't go to work. Then I called it in. I skipped work. Everything's doing good. Health is good. I hope everybody's health is good as well. Controversial subject or not? I don't know how to categorize this. Canelo being a duck. The Ryan Garcia case. Also, Bill Haney separates from his son. We're going to go into it, a little bit of everything. He says goodbye to Devin Haney. Everybody tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to go tune in at Canelo Loco Sports. He's going to have Edgar Berlanga, if I'm reading this correct, if I'm understanding this correct. He's going to have Edgar Berlanga in his show. Everybody, 10:30. 10:30. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to be shooting the link pretty soon, guys, for all of those of you that want to join me. You are more than welcome to do so. We can share some boxing thoughts. And just be on the lookout, man. Yeah, G Funky, the narratives are falling left and right, brother. And the more work we put in, the more they're gonna keep dropping. That's just it. I'm telling. Oh, the guy he has history with. It doesn't matter. Everybody, go tune in at 10:30. 10:30. There is an official call out at 10:30. I call out to Edgar Berlanga at Canelo Loco Sports channel. I'm telling you guys, let's go ahead and get started on this topic, man. Well, first of all, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's show. I had a blast just having Sanchez here with us. My favorite part of the night was just allowing you guys to come in live and ask the man questions and him replying to you guys. Also, I thought that was my favorite part of the night. I appreciate the fact that you guys kept it respectful. I appreciate the fact that you guys kept the show moving, interacted in the chat with one another, and kept it respectful. And I also appreciate the fact that after he was gone, y'all stayed chopping it up with me for about an hour and a half. So, hey, man, Canelo Alvarez is a duck. Or at least some of the channels out there seem to think so. And notice I didn't call them boxing channels. No. Because unfortunately, if you go to their channel, whoever it is, I'm not even going to mention name because that's not my purpose tonight. That is not even my purpose tonight. But those channels have gone away from talking actual boxing. They have been taking a comfortable seat. When you listen to them, it's like you don't know if you're watching a YTBC channel or if you're watching TMZ or E Gossips or Boxing Wives of Atlanta. You know what I mean? You just don't know what you're watching because everything that they talk about is aside from boxing. Everything that they talk about is lacking a base behind it. They have no foundation behind it. It's all opinion being shot at you with a Halloween costume of facts. It may look like a fact, but when you strip the costume, you will realize it's nothing but opinions. It's nothing but opinions. So let me decompress here for a few minutes and I'll be shooting the link. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and copy that and just to make sure that it's all well and dandy, as the British would say. At the end of the day, welcome to all of my people. Giovanni Diaz, thank you for being here, my brother. Thank you. Chicano Prophet, everybody subscribes to Chicano Prophet. Everybody subscribe to D-Style, Cano Loco Sports. Go put the support to these channels. They have decided to put forth boxing knowledge and maybe to the side and a little bit behind narratives, especially false narratives. HLD in the building. HLD in the building. What's going on, my brother? You have been missing a few good shows. You missed last night's show for a fact. For a fact. There's the link. Nobody calls in just yet. Just give me a few minutes. Anyway, guys. Yes, some of these channels, when you look at them speak, they have the casual fans confused. And notice when I say I want you to know something. When I say the word or the term casual fan, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I simply mean what the literal meaning of the phrase is. Casual fan. People that don't know boxing, but are from time to time entertained by it and casually stops by a YouTube channel. From time to time may watch a boxing match, but they don't really know what they're seeing as much as the people that are hardcore boxing fan, as much as the people that have been fighters in the past, as much as the people that are constantly around boxing gyms, that interact with boxers, that interact with trainers. So what these channels have done is they have found the key to keep an audience full of casuals. And the way to keep an audience full of casuals is to sell them suspense, controversy, to sell them drama. Because at the end of the day, what are they going to sell them? Boxing? Well, they don't understand boxing. They don't understand boxing. So if they don't understand boxing and you still want to keep their butts in the seat, you still want to get those clicks, then you create spews for more views. And that's just the truth, my people. When I say casual fan, I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I mean that in the literal sense of the phrase. That's just a fact, guys. Canelo Alvarez, when you go through all of those channels, has been categorized as the duck. And if Canelo Alvarez sneezes, but the tone of his sneeze wasn't as strong as it should have been, then his lungs are weak. And if he goes up and down the stairs, but his steps are not aligned, then he's ducking the orthopedic. And if he goes to McDonald's, but he doesn't want no cheese, then he's scared of the lactose in the cheese. And if he forgets to sign a pair of gloves, then he's ducking the smell of the marker's ink. But no matter what the man does, he's a duck. It does not matter what the man does. So all of these channels have all of a sudden found comfort in selling that lie. When you look at Canelo Alvarez, there is a huge contradiction in what the reality tells us in comparison to what they tell us. Because no ducker can do what the man has done. No ducker can fight 3 champions in less than 10 months and beat them and take their belts. No ducker can move up in weight and beat the champion. No ducker can then come back down from 175 and fight the number one guy, the guy that was beating everybody, the guy that was about 7 inches taller than him, the guy that was had about, I don't know how much reach advantage on him, beat him, completely pummel him, completely take him to school, completely break him down like a big old tree being chopped down by a forest ranger. No pun intended. But somehow that's still not enough, right? Somehow Canelo Alvarez is still a duck. D-Style in the building. Everybody subscribe to D-Style. D-Style in the building. Let me see. We're working, G. We're working, D-Style. We're working. Listen, man, at the end of the day, I'm going to give the entrance here right now to everybody, whoever wants to call in. I'm going to take up to 10 people. And let's go ahead and start sharing our opinions in this thought. While you guys call in, I'll tell you this, guys, man. Caleb Plant is not ready for no damn Canelo Alvarez. That's just a fact. Let's get that out of the way. Yes, he may look good. Yes, he may be a very good boxer. In my opinion, he is a very, very good boxer. But he's not the big dog of the division, and he's not ready for Canelo Alvarez. And the thing he said after his fight, you lined him up, I knock him down, I'm telling you that's a lie. I'm telling you that is a lie. When you saw Caleb Plant fight Truax, man, you saw Caleb Plant putting in the work. You saw Caleb Plant doing whatever he wanted. You saw Caleb Plant playing with Truax, but then you saw Caleb Plant after the 6.5, maybe 7th round that went from 25 miles an hour down to 15. And then the right hands started landing from Truax. A Truax that was not applying any kind of pressure. A Truax that was not applying any kind of punishment to the body. A Truax that was not applying any type of punishment to the head. A Truax that could not get his timing. A Truax that could not counterpunch. A Truax that had no power. A Truax that was not young. You were able to see an old Truax after the 6.5, 7th round started landing some leather on Caleb Smith. You don't believe me? Look at Caleb Smith's face. That's the best evidence. That's just a fact. I'm not fanboying here. I'm not making something out of thin air. There's paper receipts. There's electronic receipts. You can always go back and rewatch the fight. And the only thing I'm telling you right now is if, and only if, Chad Perez in the building. Welcome. Guido de Quisqueya la Bella, República Dominicana. Welcome, hermano. Welcome. The only thing I got to tell you is this. If, by any chance, a fighter like Caleb Plant finds himself in the ring with Canelo Alvarez and for some reason runs out of gas or tones it down a bit midway through the fight, we can always speculate that it's downhill after that. Downhill after that. Remember, now keep in mind, I want you to paint the picture in your head. We're talking about a Caleb Plant that ran or got a little shorter on his gas tank, right? Halfway through the fight. Facing a fighter. I agree, Cano Locos. I completely agree. Facing a fighter that was not putting any kind of pressure on him. Facing a fighter that was not in any way, shape, or form landing leather on him, facing a fighter that was just there, jittery, tense, falling for the traps, getting counterpunched all night. 38 years of age, he still ran out of gas halfway through the fight, to the point that he slowed down a bit, and Truex started catching him with an overhand right over his jab, started catching him with an uppercut when they would come in at the mid-range or close the distance. And I'm only simply saying, if that was Canelo in front of him, Caleb Plant is not going to have an easy route from first to sixth round. Caleb Plant will have to be putting in some serious work from the very first round until the end, if he makes it to the end. Now, you might think I'm just hating, and that would be fair because everybody is entitled to their own opinion. You might think I'm hating on Canelo. Well, how can you say that about Caleb Plant? Well, yada, yada, yada. Let's just hear it from the men that fought him. This is a Fight Hype video. It belongs, Fight Hub video. It belongs to them.
Finish with your fight with Caleb Plant, man. What do you think overall of how the fight played out?
It was it didn't go the way I wanted to, that's for sure. But got to give him his props. He's a quick fighter. He's a good boxer. He's got a hell of a jab. He just was able to keep me at bay the whole fight, and it didn't go my way.
What were you looking to do in there? What was the plan coming in the fight?
You know, I wanted to push the pace and put pressure on him, but credit to him, he was able to keep the distance with his jab and made it tough for me to get close to him and work the body.
Can you guys hear that?
At any point,
Are you guys hearing that? There's the link. You guys can start calling in. Whoever wants to start calling in. Let me know if you guys are hearing that so I can continue playing the video. So you guys can hear. There you go. Let's continue.
Like, what was like the one thing you felt like you were close to like being able to get a rhythm and doing in there? You landed a lot of right hands, which we mentioned on the telecast.
I was trying to land a right hand over the top of his shoulder when he rolled. I landed a couple nice ones, but it was just too few and far between. Mainly because of his foot positioning and his movement. He was able to get away from me and kind of slip out the back door. And I knew he was a quick fighter. Knew he was a good defensive fighter, slick, but he was a little bit slicker and a little bit more elusive than I thought.
How does he rank to like DeGale and Durrell and all these other guys that you fought?
He's got a better jab than all of them. I think he's got probably the best jab that I've faced. Power, he didn't have much power at all. He's a good fighter. You know, I think he needs more time to take on the likes of Canelo. You know, but he's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that right now because they asked him after the fight. You know, like, hey, who's next? You know, I know Canelo's been thrown out there. Do you think he's able to beat a Canelo, or do you think that the power part, which you mentioned, is going to play a big role in that?
I wouldn't pick him to beat Canelo right now. I wouldn't pick anybody to beat Canelo right now. So that's not saying anything negative on him, but he's only got 21 fights. He's got plenty of time to develop, and he seems to be getting better. So just take his time.
Now, as for you, Caleb, where do you want to go from here?
I'm not sure. I still feel like I got some left in me, and I can keep on going forward. And just went the distance with a guy that's in his prime, and he's a good fighter. So,
that's a low blow.
Talk to my girlfriend, to my family, and see what I think I should do.
Well,
don't want to make any knee-jerk decisions.
So, guys, at the end of the day, it's not just Rangers saying it. It's not just Canelo saying it. It's not just Canelo fans saying it. The guy that just fought, Caleb Plant, said he's not beating Canelo Alvarez. It's just not gonna happen. D style in the building. What is going on, my brother? Hispanic, Carson.
Oh shit! This thing's so fresh. Look at this. It's so fresh. I forgot to take out the tag.
Also, that's your official shirt. Let me see. Put it on there so people can see it.
Check it out.
Put it on there. Get up. For sure, man. Hey, look at that. Let them know where to get it, brother. Let them know where to get it.
The link will be coming soon. I'm just working on a couple details. The place that can make them for me to sell them. I'm having a sample sent to me. I want to make sure it's good material.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Can I give you Can I give you an idea? Maybe you've already had it, but I'll just tell you.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
Are you going to have it available in the colors of all the Hispanic flags or just the Mexican flags?
Oh, you already know it. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Of all the flags.
You're smarter than I thought, man. You're smarter than I thought.
Even the American colors. We just want HCP. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want it to say Hispanics, it's cool. There's going to be some HCP ones just with the logo.
Well, but it makes sense, though, because how many Hispanic Americans do we have? See what I'm saying? So, man, Canelo Alvarez is the duck, apparently. I mean, I didn't know this. Can you please elaborate on that? And anybody else that wants to come in, here's the link again. Because honestly, I didn't know that much about boxing. I thought the man was just doing his thing. But apparently, the big know-it-alls of the YTBC say that he's a duck. So please enlighten me, because I'm not that smart.
Look, it's hard to take that serious, but I'll try. Here's what I could say, man. A lot of YouTubers on here, they want to run with that narrative that Canelo's a ducker, Canelo's avoiding all the smoke, because people keep egging him on. It keeps getting them the views. That's just so I can't fault the content creators for it, but I can't say that all those simps that are listening to them and believing everything they're saying, okay, then that's what you are. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, here's a reality, Raw. If you and I work for the same company,
correct,
and Range over here, Raw had the best numbers, he had the best productivity of whatever it is we're doing, and I was going around saying, we need to fire Raw Boxing. This dude ain't good at what he does. Fire this guy, man. Like he's no good. I mean, he's terrible for this workplace. And I go to my manager and I tell him. He looks at the data. He looks at the matrix, the metrics, and he says, you know what? Ranger has the best numbers in the whole. He's doing the best work out of everybody.
Yeah.
So why do you want me to fire? Why do you want me to go at him? What about Mike over there? Hasn't done shit. What about Lisa over there? What about John over there? What about Miguel over here? Just generic names. What about them? No, but no. Like they're doing their best. You need to get rid of this guy. Get rid of him. Right? That's what they're doing with Canelo. As crazy as that sounds, that's what they're doing with Canelo, bro. Okay. Yeah. Who has the better resume? Canelo. Who's fought the better names? Canelo. Who's fighting? If you take the last 4 or 5 opponents, who's had a better resume? Canelo, by far, bro, by far. And I keep hearing the nonsense. No, but you see, these guys are trying to make the fights, but they can't. Right? Yeah. That's what I keep hearing. Now, at the same time, they tell me that these PBC fighters are their own boss. Right? They keep telling me that these guys call the shots. You know what I mean? That they're not slaves to the promoter system like the top ranked fighters and the zone fighters and all this. They're their own boss. You know what I mean? So it's time to make some boss moves.
Correct.
Right? If Charlo wants to fight Canelo, because this is the biggest lie that's been told on YouTube, that Canelo's been running from the Charlos, plural. That he's been running, hiding, and ducking. I put a bounty out. I said $20 Cash App to the first person that finds me a video from 2016 and before that claiming that Canelo is ducking the Charlos.
Easy money.
I put the bounty out. Why does nobody want to collect the easy bounty money? Because that video doesn't exist. That's why. You know why? Because at the time, bro, when Canelo fought Lara, for example, right?
Yeah.
The Charlos were not even the best. They were not in the top of their division and their class. They were not even the best fighters in their gym.
Lara was.
That was Lara.
Yep.
Lara was the best fighter in that fucking gym. He was the alpha male of that gym. Don't believe me? I got the sparring footage.
Yep.
When he's schooling those dudes, right?
Yep.
At that time. Charlo was fighting 8-rounders when this dude was fighting Lara, bro. Okay? Now, granted, they eventually won titles, but guess what? At that time, Canelo was being pressured and being accused of ducking Triple G. That's what the energy was. He had already moved up to fight Cotto. at a catchweight that Cotto wanted. Okay.
Yeah, he was, because he played the B side against Cotto as well. People fail to realize that he was the B side versus Mayweather. Then he was the B side versus Cotto.
And Cotto was in quite a run. I mean, he did throw Martinez one-legged, but he did. And, you know, he was the quote-unquote lineal middleweight champion. Cotto was the one that was fighting everybody at catchweights. Okay, so Canelo said, okay, no problem. That was a concession from Canelo, not from Cotto. Why would Canelo want him? Duh. Well, why would he want to put that stipulation on himself against a smaller Cotto? Makes no sense. The same with Khan. That catchweight was to help Khan, not Canelo.
Correct.
But why would Canelo implement a catchweight against Khan? Right now, I didn't even like that fight, by the way.
Me neither.
Right? But
Me neither.
I'm keeping it real with that. But don't want people add on to it like, and he put Khan at a catchweight. Like, Khan was the one moving up, idiot.
Yeah.
What you guys talking about, right? At the end of the day. But then what happened, man? He fought Triple G not once, but twice.
Ooh, somebody's collecting the bounty. Let's see. I know the channel that was accusing Canelo of ducking Charlo in 2016, but I don't remember the title of the video, and it's going to be hard to find it out. Of all the videos, the uploader of the, well, man, I'm sorry, you got to put in the work. If you can find it, you can bring it. Just to let people know before we continue with this subject, we're also going to be touching in this Ryan Garcia. We're also going to be talking about Bill Haney separates from his son, Devin Haney.
Well, that's news to me.
Yeah, man. So, but we're chopping all of the subjects up in order. Don't be shy. Whoever wants to call in, man. Hey, there's the link again. A few of you are a little scared today for some awkward reason, but whatever. We're just chopping it up.
Hey, sometimes it's just a thing, man. I had a few minutes on it. You know what? Let me stop by, support, Raw Boxing.
He shouldn't be fighting Yildirim. Why is he even fighting Yildirim? Why is he fighting Yildirim? Why did he chose? Listen to this. Apparently, Canelo chose Yildirim.
Here's a reality.
Check him.
Yildirim was already the mandatory, okay, when Benavidez had the belt, okay? Benavidez was going to have to fight Yildirim next, period. No way around it, okay? Benavidez lost the belt at the scale.
Yeah, he ate too much cheese and enchiladas.
Yeah, a little bit too much. You know what I mean? I heard somebody say that it wasn't like his wife was pregnant, so maybe he was like, he was craving some of the stuff she was eating or something.
Craving.
Should have been in the fight camp. Well, he should have been, but I get it. You know what I mean? But can't say he can't redeem himself. I'm not saying he can't come back from that, but reality is reality. And look, right now, Yildirim was named the mandatory before Canelo even existed in the picture. Was named the mandatory. I don't know. I don't like the fact that he's a mandatory, but that was already the case. Okay,
right.
Period. And here's another thing, because people keep trying to make that false equivalency. Wow, why didn't he fight Charlo when Charlo was the mandatory? Because he moved up. Because he fought a unification with Daniel Jacobs, and he never fought at 160 again.
And who offered more money, Jacobs or the Charlo at the time?
At the time, he made a lot. He made 35 million.
Exactly. I mean, people at the time he fought Jacob was one of the best in that division. Period.
Most people feel he beat Triple G.
Period.
Like
I thought Jacobs beat Triple G as well. I also thought he beat Triple G. And he was so good, Canelo didn't look good against him. Now, I personally think Canelo beat him, but Canelo didn't look good against him. And no average fighter is going to force Canelo into not looking good.
$35 million.
All of these dots. And so now they're so desperate for these men to lose that apparently Caleb Plant has risen as the man that is going to give Canelo Alvarez the most trouble and potentially beat him. So I think it was Andre Ward saying that.
Man, back then you had to do something, bro. Like, when people think it's when Lara showed up to the presser, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think like it wasn't just that. It was that Lara had like everybody knew he beat Williams, right? Like, everybody knew that, but you know they didn't give him the nod or anything. You know what I mean? But everybody knew Lara was dangerous.
Yeah. Not only was he dangerous, man. I mean, you cannot deny that Lara has been one of the best fighters at 154 pounds that we've had in the last 10 years, 15 years, maybe. I don't know how long. Well, 10 years, because he's been here about 11 years. So,
no, but you know what made people think it was a press conference. Now, don't get me wrong, that helped, you know. The thing that, at least for hardcore fans, that made people say, hey, Canelo, you got to fight this dude, okay, was after he embarrassed Austin Trout for 12 rounds, okay?
Ooh.
Like that, and then he knocked him down with that beautiful straight left, and Trout went like, well, what the hell was that? That's what people said, you got to fight that dude, because if you don't, then that, like, where's that move that Charlo's making, right? Like, where is that? Like, you know, like that's how you pressure a guy to fight you, and then it's not just the pressure to fight him. That's how you make a fight accessible. You know what I mean? That's how you make a fight at the end of the day. Because let's be honest, man, if Canelo gets no credit for the win over Kirkland, right? People look at that now and they say, but Kirkland, I mean, he was no good. But on YouTube, people were clamoring for that fight. They were crying.
I do remember that. They were crying because it was going to be an action-packed fight. And Kirkland was the warrior. And it was an action-packed fight, but one-sided only.
And it was a time when they were like, oh, Canelo, he's going to duck the fight, man, because he knows Kirkland's a dog, and he's going to bring it to him. And what happens? They make the fight. He dominates him, knocks him out. All right.
Kirkland wasn't all that. He cherry-picked Kirkland.
Now, let me add this to that. In hindsight, you could look at that and you honestly could say, yeah, that wasn't the best Kirkland, right? Like, we couldn't honestly assess that.
G-Funky in the building. Everybody's
what's going on, G-Funky? But that is why. That's the reason why, okay, you have to, like do something. Make, like the fact that Canelo got the win over Lara, right? And I understand it was controversial and everything, but there was something to gain out of that. Whether people admit it at the time or not, Canelo even used that against Gennady Golovkin in the lead up to their fight. You know what I mean? And he even said, I have to fight difficult opponents. I have to fight a dude like Lara who's very defensive. Who the hell has Gennady Golovkin fought that's like that? And he had a good point. You know what I mean? You have to gain something, bring something to the table, right? To the prize fight. You know, like something to be gained. Like, it's like poker, right? You can't play poker if you don't got chips. You know what I mean? How are you putting chips in the middle of the table? Like, what chips are you bringing? Like, you know, I mean, you just have to do it, Canelo. Like, no, where are your chips? Why should Canelo put chips on the table if you're not going to put chips on the table? Put chips on the table. ATP, stand up.
Correct.
That's right, baby.
Talk to me, brother. Oh, he dropped. G-Funky escaping the smoke.
He's got that internet, bro, with the Taco Bell.
He's got that Taco Bell Wi-Fi from his car, man. That's the problem.
You remember that Taco Bell commercial, bro? Like, run to the border. That shit was crazy.
Who we got?
Funky.
Okay.
Just got molded in the roof. This is the rich Mexican I've ever seen one, bro. Look at that.
Man, that's money.
Can you guys hear me or what?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Sorry, man. That's I'm doing double duty right now. My daughter's doing some school stuff, and I just want to jump on real quick, man, because
yeah, see, he's spending all the money on the house payment, but not on the internet. I'm telling you, you got to stop getting that internet from Taco Bell, bro.
I don't know what happened.
You are quiet. You want to drop and come back in, man? If you got a different point of view than what we're talking about, the link is there, guys. Nobody's going to get timed out here. We will respect your opinion. Nobody's going to get kicked out unless you start getting like racist or very disrespectful. Nobody's going to quiet you. You will get your time to speak uninterrupted. This is what we're about at the HCP. This is what we're about in the new breed of boxing content creators. So if you in the chat have a different opinion, feel free, feel comfortable to come in here, okay? Look at it as 3 guys that met up in the Walmart parking lot to talk boxing, and we're chopping it up. So feel free. Ain't nobody blocking you. Ain't nobody gonna quiet you, mute you, kick you out, time you out. None of that junk. So here's the link again. If you have a different opinion, if you just want to chop it up with me, bring it in. HCP t-shirts coming up soon. G Funky, talk to me. Have you talked to the Taco Bell manager so they can give you a little more signal?
Oh man, I think we got it. I think we got it all settled out, man.
I got you.
No, but just like I said, I want to jump out real quick because I am doing the double duty stuff. But look, here's the thing, man. With this whole Canelo was avoiding the Charlos back at 154 narrative, okay? Look, all 3 of us here were on YouTube back then. We were all making videos. We were all very active out here in these YouTube streets. All right?
Facts.
No, man, nobody was calling for Canelo to fight Charlos then, man. We wanted to see him fight Edislandi Lara. We wanted to see him fight Austin Trout. We wanted to see him fight. Even Mataroshin was a guy who was undefeated at the time. Who he could have fought back then. But guess what? He fought 2 of those guys and Mayweather. And I mean, the Charlos, these guys were nowhere near on the radar, man. Like
they were not even the best fighters in their gym.
Exactly.
Lara was the alpha male of that gym.
Exactly. And even our friends over at New Media know what time it is because they were the ones making the most videos about how he needs to fight Trout, how he needs to fight Lara. And guess what? He fucking did it, man. Now, regardless of whether you think he won or not, he got in there and did it.
Now watch this, though.
Go ahead, bro.
Watch this, though, G. You just said something that's true. The people at the quote-unquote new media, which to me, new media is the same as old media as long as they're both active. The people at new media know what's up because at the end of the day, they have still yet answered a very simple question. Why is it, track with me for a second, why is it that Mayweather was able to pick and choose when he became Money May? That Mayweather was able to negotiate his way out of a Margarito fight. Mayweather was able to negotiate his way out of a Paul Williams fight, a fight that everybody wanted to see. And I am talking about my favorite boxer, Money Mayweather. Don't get that straight. Don't believe me? I got the paper receipts in my channel. Go back and watch the videos I make talking about Mayweather, defending Mayweather on a lot of things. But my question still remains the same. Why is it that it's very defendable what Mayweather was doing, but now that we got a new boss in town, now that we got a fighter that has reached a certain status and he's doing the exact same thing, and I dare to say a little more because he's fighting more than Mayweather was doing. I never saw Mayweather fight 3 or 4 times in a year. Never, ever. After he became Money May, nah.
Twice a year, yeah.
And some people might say, "Hey, Kirkland was off for two years," as I read here in the channel. It's not the first time a fighter takes a layoff and comes back and either wins or loses. When Mayweather came back after his second retirement, he came back after a 2-year layoff, and he looked impressive because the quality's there. It doesn't matter. We can look for all of the microscopical excuses that we want to use, but the fact of the matter is that you still yet have to answer, or you have still yet not answered. Why do you guys used to defend Mayweather when he used to do the same thing, but now the Canelo Alvarez is doing it? Somehow it's a duck. Please, there's the link. I know one of you's watching. Click that link and bring it in here. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to give you my smoke, but I'm also not going to block you. I'm not going to shut you up. I'm not going to kick you out unless you get all disrespectful up in here.
I'm going to say this raw. I mean, they better do it now. You know what I mean? Because you know why? Let me tell you why. Because HCP is going to keep growing. I don't know if you guys know this, but we're going to keep growing. You know what I mean? We're going to keep getting bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? Like it's already slowly, but it's a right grind. It's not that, fake grind. It's a right grind. You know what I mean? And look, at the end of the day, I was on here for years, and I have a thing called receipts where I would, call out hypocrisies about Mayweather and in terms of like Mayweather would get criticized for fighting Gotti. Okay, fair enough. You know, well, you only fought Gotti, you didn't fight anybody else at 140. What about Pacquiao 135? You only fought David Diaz. David Diaz wasn't even the best Diaz in the division. You know what I mean? Now, I don't have an issue with either or, but, keep it consistent. You know what I mean?
The same energy.
That's all it is. Yeah.
That's right.
Keep the same energy, because at the end of the day, this is why I opened the live saying what I was saying. They have found that they have in front of them an extraordinary amount of casual fans. When I say fans again, casual fans again, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in the literal term, the literal meaning of the term. People that don't really know boxing like hardcore boxing fans do. And so it's very easy to confuse them. It's really easy to sell them basketball wife of Atlanta drama type of thing. It's very easy to sell them he's ducking. It's very easy to sell them all of these things that are not backed up by evidence, by facts. It's really easy to keep their butts in the seats, right? And so now, because they got however many subscribers they got, they know more boxing than we do, homie. And mind you, they've never been in a ring. They don't even know what a professional boxing hand wrap is supposed to look like.
I know you're supposed to cover the whole palm. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
No?
If you ever boxed, you would know.
I saw Triple H in the WWE wrap it, covered his hand, bro. What do you mean? I saw it.
Guys, just to let you know, man, the Instagram is finally up. Find me on Instagram at Raw Boxing TV. That's aside from my personal one. I want to keep my personal one just for family. So if you're following me on my personal Instagram, I encourage you to go follow me at Raw Boxing TV on Instagram. Do the same thing on Twitter at Raw Boxing TV. You can get at me. There you go. You can get up.
They've only used this. That's why they say that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Black and Brown Boxing in the building. Everybody subscribe to Black and Brown Boxing. Man, let me tell you something. It's getting to the point that the more you defend what's true in boxing, the more of a fanboy it makes you look. But at the end of the day, when you go back and try to undo what we're doing, you're going to find out that we're in fact correct in what we're doing. And it gets tired. It gets tiring because at least me, I care about the truth. I care about what's coming out of my mouth into your ears, right? Because I know whatever you hear from me, some of you might investigate it, some of you may not. You would just run with it. So I'm always going to be focused on delivering you guys the truth, right? But that's not their mentality. Their mentality is, what can I come up with to get some clicks? Because if I can get 3,000 views, I might make $160 out of this video. Oh, I got it. Canelo Alvarez was getting out of his car and he slipped. So that means Canelo Alvarez is broke. He cannot afford Snickers shoes with good soles. They come up with all kinds of crap just to create a video and deliver it to you so they can get the clicks. They put out the spews for more views. At the end of the day, guys, I don't know how you feel about it. I got it. First of all, G-Funk has been following me here since 2008. And I don't know how long you were following me for, D. But let me ask you a question, G-Funk, and you can answer this. 6 years ago, before I took my break, what was I being called in the YouTube community when it came to the name of Canelo Alvarez? You can tell him.
Oh,
I'm not going to say it.
You were being called the same thing that I was being called around the same time. We're both being called Canelo haters because we're just honest about the kid. We didn't really know how good he was at the time. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it was for me. And I mean, I'm going to speak for myself here. The guy had a lot of fans back then. He was already a pretty big star in the sport, but he hadn't really stepped up yet. So we were just saying, hey, look, let's see you get in a ring with somebody, and then we'll judge you from there. And that's the same energy I'm keeping with all these young guys nowadays. But yeah, I was right in the same boat with you, man. And look, now that he's doing the right thing, he's going for undisputed at 168. There's nothing to complain about here, man, with me. So,
why is that, G? Why is it that we changed our mind all of a sudden, man? It sounds like you and I we don't have a strong foundation in what we believe. Why is it that we were once one of the meanest Canelo haters, and right now we seem to be liking Canelo? Damn, that's pretty bad. Why? Can you explain that?
Yeah, because he's doing all the things that he should be doing right now, man. There's really no room to complain at all. He's He's coming into a division. He's wiping out the division. He's getting all the belts. There's literally nothing to complain about with this dude. You could get mad about the Yildirim fight or whatever. Look, that's fine. He just fought 2 months ago. He's having a little in between fight. That's normal from where I come from. You know, back when I was young, I first started watching boxing. These guys weren't fighting great fighters fight in and fight out. That's just not the way it worked, man. He's having his mandatory. He's going to get him out the way. He's going to fight Billy Joe, which I think is a good fight. Then hopefully we get planned at the end of the year. So, I mean, what we're doing is we're just being consistent. We're like, hey, look, we needed to see you do something. You're doing something. So we give credit where credit is due, you know?
I heard a channel. He goes, the guy goes, it's like, I swear to God, it's funny because he's not lying, but it's really misleading. He's like, I mean, Canelo fought last year, and then he's going to fight this year against Yildirim. Like, dude, he fought him like
2 months ago.
December, bro. Like, you know, it's not like this was the last January. It was in a rolling year. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're not lying, but like, you're like, you know, I mean, come on now.
But that's that's exactly what I'm saying. The way they construct the words that come out of their mouth, it's very deceiving. So that's why I always tell people that follow me, don't always believe what I say. In fact, never believe what I say. When I tell you something, it's your responsibility to go research before you actually go and run around spreading whatever it is that I said. At the end of the day, guys, don't trust me. Don't trust nobody. But one thing I can tell you is, in my channel, I'm going to give you the truth. And you know why we were once Canelo haters, which we never were? We was just YouTubers keeping Canelo at the level he belonged at the time. You know why we were once Canelo haters and now we're so-called Canelo fanboys? Because when a fighter isn't great, you say it isn't great. And that's going to make you a hater in the eyes of the blind fans. But when a fighter becomes great and you put him at the pedestal of greatness, then that's going to make you a fanboy in the eyes of the fighter's hater. You're never going to satisfy either party. Okay, ever. But what you need to do as a content creator, what you need to do as a fan is have a clear conscience and say, you know what? I'm being honest. I'm shooting what is truth out there. I'm putting things in perspective. When I say Canelo is great, what basis am I using to say that the kid is great? Well, let me see. The fact that at the age of 30, he has captured title belts in 4 weight divisions. The fact that at the age of 30, he has beaten everybody his face with the exception of the greatest boxer that we've had in the last 20 years. The fact that, and I did say the last 20 years, not the GOAT. 1, because Mayweather cannot spell GOAT. And 2, because he's not the greatest of all time. So let's keep things factual. Let's keep things where they belong. The fact that the kid fights as if he was a contender 2, 3 times a year. Get that in your head. A 4-division world champion. The face of boxing as we speak, as you and I are right here. The face of boxing is fighting 3 and sometimes 4 times a year. Name me one other mega name in the sport of boxing as we speak that does that. Name me one aside from Canelo. Shoe Shine in the building. Everybody subscribe to Shoe Shine Boxing. This is a channel, a new channel, but not new members. Okay? They created their platform in Periscope. Periscope is going to be shutting down, and now they're going to be putting their content here in YouTube. Make sure you have a responsibility to support every good boxing channel. And I've been with them several times. Trust me when I tell you, all of these guys I'm chopping it up with are good content creators. Go subscribe to Shoe Shine Boxing. Subscribe to Cano Loco Sport, Black and Brown Boxing. All of those are good content creators. So to go back to what I was saying, that's the reason we were once Canelo haters, and now we're apparently fanboys. Are you a fanboy of Canelo, D-Style?
No, I'm not a fanboy of any fighter, but here's what I could say. According to La Flaca, I'm a fanboy of Neri, but I'm not. Okay, like look. But here's what I could say though. I too make criticism. Like there is valid criticisms about any fighter. Like you know what I mean. Like no fighter's above any criticisms. The problem is that the criticisms are like so over the top right now, like the narratives that it doesn't really leave room to criticize. Like it's kind of like I ain't doing anything to Canelo like at all. Like if I criticize him for things like me when I talk Canelo, bro, like if I have a criticism, it's because I'm comparing him to the all-time greats of boxing and I want him to reach those levels. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with Canelo. Like it's a whole nother standard. It's a whole nother like stratosphere of discussion where some of these other guys are champions and I'm like, hey, Plant, fight somebody, bro. Can you fight somebody with a pulse? Like, are these guys passing the pulse test? Dude, is he alive? What the hell's going on over here? Like, what? That's what I want. Like, there's guys right now, dude, that haven't fought anybody. They're either 30 or almost 30 years old. They haven't fought anyone, like at all. And that's all I want. I want them to beat somebody. Right? That way, if Canelo fights him and beats him, they can't turn around and say, yeah, but who was that guy? Who he beat? What did he do? What did he accomplish? That guy was a nobody. You know what I mean? That's how people take away wins from people. That's why it's important to accomplish something. And like I said, to bring the chips to the table. Hey, Raw, I want to thank you for having me on, man. I do got to run.
Do your thing, brother.
But peace out, man. HCP tomorrow, guys. You know what I mean? 9 p.m. Eastern is a new start time. We'll have Calix on, that whole good stuff. We have a good show. We have a guest. I'm working on a second guest. So there's that. This is D-Style. I'm out, guys. Peace.
Be good, brother. Be good. G-Funk.
All right, bro.
You gotta peace out too, don't you?
I got a few more minutes here, and then I'm gonna jump off. Like I said, I'm doing the double duty thing here, but I want to jump on and chop it up with you, man. You know, this is how we get down, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, look. At the end of the day, man, we're just gonna keep pushing. We're just gonna keep creating the content, as unpopular as it might be. It doesn't matter. If you don't believe us, I'm pretty sure you're gonna wreck against a wall when you try to investigate what we're telling you, and you're gonna find that it's true. But you can feel comfortable knowing that here, very little emotion. I guess in my channel and G-Funk, because like I said, we've been called all kinds of things: Canelo haters, Canelo fanboys, Canelo this, Canelo that. But at the end of the day, we're just putting out the content. So, and speaking of Canelo and his stable, Ryan Garcia, Mr. Confusion, a fighter that I like a lot, but I have to be honest with you and keep the same energy. I don't know what to think of him right now. I don't know what to think of his team. I don't know what to think of the situations. I don't know what to think of the moves he's making. What do you think on this whole confusion, G-Funk? Anybody in the chat? We're here. Feel free to call in.
Yeah, man, this is not a good look for Ryan at all. I was hoping that he would stay 135, get some work done down there, particularly with Haney, since he is the mandatory, him and Fortuna. The Pacquiao fight is just a money fight, man, at this point. It doesn't look like Pacquiao has much time left in boxing. So, you know, he's trying to make some cash before he gets on out. And, you know, I mean, I understand that. But at the same time, you're pulling up a kid who's at 135, which is a very stacked division right now. A lot of fire fights to be made down there, and he should just stay down there, man. But here's the thing, man. I'm not one of these knee-jerk reaction guys. There's no official fight yet. There's nothing. It's not official. Nothing has been signed, sealed, delivered. So I've said this before on last week. I'm going to hold my tongue on it for now until it is official. But I can tell you this: if it's an exhibition, I'm going to destroy it. I don't want nothing to do with some exhibition of two guys who are professional fighters right now.
Inactive.
Yes, exactly. And we'll see, man. But I want to see what happens, if it's real, if it's not. I'm not going to go on a rant and say anything about it yet. But I can tell you this: if it does happen, it's not a good look for Ryan, man. That's for sure.
Correct. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter. JC in the building, man. Everybody subscribe to the Ringside Reporter. They have a very good channel as well. I follow them as well. And I'm telling you guys, when I tell you to go subscribe to somebody, it's because they create good content. You get that? They create good content. So go over there, subscribe. I don't care if you leave my live stream, subscribe to them, activate the notification bell, and come back to the live. Support all these channels, man. Support all these channels. And guys, as we continue on this ordeal, there's the link again. I didn't know people were that scared to join a live stream, but okay. Look, my situation with Garcia is the following, and my beef is more with the promotion, with the management, with the handlers, with the advisors, than anybody else. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you say, that's still a 22, 23-year-old kid. Okay? Kid, mentally. He might be a man to other things. He might be a man to the fight game. But still, mentally, when it comes to creating certain words, phrase, call outs, it's still a kid. I don't know where they got this idea from. And so far, we haven't heard nothing from Pacquiao. We haven't heard anything from Pacquiao. Everything's coming from the Ryan Garcia side. And I'm not saying he's lying, but it sure as hell is creating a whole lot of confusion. A whole lot of confusion. And man, we were all excited and pushing forward and talking about the fight versus Tank Davis. You went to a show where Tank Davis crashed it, and you looked at him in the face and you said 2 rounds. You realize what that video did? That video created such a hype for this potential match. Then now, once Tank Davis heard that you were fighting Pacquiao in an exhibition, he said, bye-bye, we're out. We've lost a potential good match because of this move that nobody knows if it's going to come to fruition. Nobody knows at all, if this is even coming also from Pacquiao. So far, we're just hearing it from Ryan Garcia. That's all we're doing. And yes, you had a very good win. Nobody's knocking what you're doing inside the ring. Whoever knocks what you're doing inside the ring must be crazy, because you literally stopped a man that had never been stopped. Lomachenko himself could not stop him. Linares himself could not stop him. You stopped him. He dropped you. You got up. You stayed in front of him. You stayed in the pocket. You kept applying pressure and stopped him. All credit to you for that. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're not knocking that down. What we're knocking down is this move. This all of a sudden Manny Pacquiao ordeal. This all of a sudden exhibition ordeal. This all of a sudden, no, it's not an exhibition. It's going to be a real fight at a catch weight between 140 and 147 pound ordeal. The confusion that all of these moves are creating. And my whole thing is it coming from Ryan? Is it coming from the promoter? Where is it coming from? Who is the originator of the idea? Because us as content creators, us as hardcore boxing fans, hell, we don't even know what to think of this situation. The only thing we can think of this situation is what we've already seen. And what we've seen is this situation bringing to a stop a potential good match for the sport of boxing, which was you versus Tank Davis. That's the very thing I'm taking issue with.
That's real. Yeah. It's a much, there's a lot more better fights down there at 135 for him, man. But it's turning into a circus. And like I said, man, I want to wait for all the pieces to fall into place before I really dig into this one here, man. But I'm definitely not a fan of the fight. I feel like he'd be just selling his O for some money. Because I mean, this might sound crazy to some people, but I don't give a damn. But I think that Pacquiao is a more dangerous fight than a Tank Davis fight, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, 10 times. I think it's crazy. That's a fact. Well, you just stated it's a fact.
Mm-hmm. And we know that there's a lot of fanboys out there that might get offended by it, but guess what? HCP don't give a damn. All right, we're going to tell you how we feel about it. And Pacquiao is a more accomplished, more dangerous fighter than Tank Davis is right now.
Look at what saying. Look at boo-boo.
Yeah, that's a troll right there. That's what that is. But yeah, I don't like the move, man. I think he should just stay down there and compete with the guys his age. Those are great fights as well. And But we'll see, man. Like I said, I want to wait and see. And it is strange that how Pacquiao is not really saying nothing. Nothing from Team Pacquiao. So I hope it's all just rumors, man. I really do, you know.
Yeah. Hey, what the troll is stating here is kind of true, though. You got knocked down by Vanez. My record resume is full of bums. I avoided Charlo, Canelo, Derenchenko, and Lara. I am a G Funky, I think you better apologize to this man. He stated some facts there, man.
We'll make him the fact checker then.
Oh man, I'm telling you, boxing right now is some people say he's in good shape. I say it isn't. I'm not the one to say, oh, it's in a coma, it's in life support. But it's actually not. It's actually not. Hey, appreciate you, Canos. I appreciate you, man. I know you got our back, man.
Cano Loco, what's going on, man?
In my opinion, it's not the boxing is dead, but boxing is not good either. And because here's the deal: there's always that, and there's always been the good and the bad fights in boxing. Don't get me wrong. But even if you look at the bad fights in boxing 15, 20 years ago, my man, they were still better than what we get today, especially at a mid-level range. I mean, think about it. We got a guy that's 21-0 that went to distance with a 38-year-old saying, I'm the big dog of the division. They have to follow me. Oh, yeah, you line him up, I knock him down. And then you got other fighters saying, this man is going to beat the face of boxing. Listen, I'm not against the comment of Plant giving trouble to Canelo, because at the end of the day, any good boxer that prepares himself can make any other fighter look bad, even if they lose in the process. Okay, that's the fact. If a fighter has upper body movement, if a fighter can have a very good jab, if a fighter has good foot movement, he can give trouble to anybody. But from trouble to beating them, come on, my man. Come on, my man. And you're talking about you line him up and I knock him down? And you're talking about you broke your hands, but you doing all this? You might have hurt your knuckles, you might have had a little inflammation there, but you broke your hands, and that was your excuse for not knocking out a 38-year-old man?
Yeah.
That didn't have an answer for your game from the beginning of the fight? I don't know. I'm not hating on Plant. I like Plant, but his mouth. He's got such a good story that anybody can get behind. But man, the mouth is putting him at risks when it comes to that, you know?
Yeah, I agree, man. That was a lackluster performance, in my opinion. I keep seeing people say, well, he won all 12 rounds. What is there to complain about? Here's the thing, man. It's not like he won all 12 rounds against a real contender.
Facts.
You know, this is a guy he was supposed to get rid of, man. Like, that's just an excuse. That we heard the same thing about another guy at 135 who went the distance with another old guy who was shot, who was very chinny. You know, well, he won all 12 rounds, but that's not the point. The point is, these guys are through, over the hill. You got to get rid of them, man. Now, again, I can see if he did this to like a Benavidez or a Caleb Smith or somebody at the top of the division. But this is Truax, bro.
Yeah.
This guy had nothing for you, man. You were supposed to get rid of this dude. I don't care what any of these guys say. This broken hand business, I don't believe it. Like you said, the man was gripping his hands, and you know, like that's something you just don't do if you break your hand. So it was not a good performance to me. Do I like his skills and his style? Absolutely. I think he's a great talent. You know, at 168, he's a champion. I'll give him that. But he's got to step it up, man, especially on primetime, man. That was very disappointing. Primetime network television, you had an opportunity to really shine and look good. And you decided to go 12 rounds with this guy for whatever reason. That was not good, man.
Correct. And look, first of all, I like the name, Grape Drank. I agree with your comment. People are slipping on Pacquiao, man. Oh, he's too old. Man, I don't give a damn. That dude dominated the best welterweight at the time. Keith Thurman. I was going to say like Biz says, Thurman. Look, bro, at the end of the day, this comment right here is facts, man. Facts.
Yeah.
I like Garcia, but this comment right here is just facts. Let's see what Jamal.
That's the same guy, I think.
yeah. His name is Ducky Season.
Oh man.
I am the lion. I'm not.
Lions only, baby.
Hey man, sometimes some of these people, man, they come up with some good stuff to make us laugh. He says, "I called a better Viet and a Bival, but y'all know damn well they will put me in the body." Oh, I think I know who that is. I think I know who this Jamal. Yeah, you got the link, homie. Bring it in here, man. I sent you the link on the on your Twitter account. So come on in here. Don't be afraid, man. Chop it up with us for a little bit.
Right. We won't bite.
Mr. Otelo 503, one of my OG subscribers. The man's been with me from the beginning of time. Welcome, my brother. Welcome to the live chat, man. Welcome. Nopal Boxellano in the building. What's going on, my brother? First time having you in the chat, in the stream.
What up, my boy Raw? I'm just right here. I wanted to welcome you to HCP.
Oh,
That's right.
And
Órale, carnal.
we're very glad to have you, man. You've put in a lot of work, and we really appreciate that. You know what I mean? I wanted to say that.
I appreciate you for sticking around, man. I mean, we just bigger things are coming, man. And I know. Listen, I've talked about this with G-Funk off air, and I'm not going to release everything him and I have talked. But the names that are coming for this channel, they're big, man. And let me tell you, not only are they coming to this channel, but they're going to do the exact same thing we did last night with Sanchez. I'm going to allow you guys. A matter of fact, the biggest name of them all, I'm not even going to ask him a single question. I'm going to go into an introduction, have a genetic conversation with him for about 5 minutes, but I don't even want to risk stealing a question from any of you guys. So all of the questions are going to strictly be asked by the people that are going to be watching the live that day. Because as a subscriber, I think that's a bonus to you guys. I think as a subscriber, you guys deserve it for supporting me. So I don't want to just steal all the content or be the captain of the ship. I know some of you guys may like some of the fighters, may not like some of the fighters, but I know you're going to like the one that's coming. And if you can go to bed that night knowing, damn, I had a 3-minute conversation with one of the best fighters right now. If you can go to bed with that in mind, that makes my day right there. Absolutely does.
That's right.
No, absolutely, man. When you get to see one of these guys on live, bro, let me tell you, bro, it's pretty hard to go to bed, bro. You're all pumped up, like, damn. You actually got to see this guy, and to see how down to earth these boxers actually are, man. Something special, brother.
For sure.
I know my boy G Funky, he agrees with me on that one.
For sure, man.
Absolutely, man. But I guess, man, I'm gonna roll out, man. It's time for me to head out. I just want to jump on again, step in with the HCP familia. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Nopal. Shout out to Raw Boxing. Shout out to the Crown Molding. You guys were getting on me about that earlier. But I just got one question for everybody in the chat, man. Who's down with HCP? I want to see it in the chat, baby. All right. Thank you for having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
Anytime, man. But listen, Nopal, in regards to Canelo, a lot of people are saying, well, this guy's going to beat the man. Or this guy, Benavidez has stated that he could knock Canelo out. Plant said yesterday, you lined him up, I knock him down. But when we had that conversation with Frank Sanchez yesterday, this is what he had to say. Let me see if I can. Hold on just a second here. This is what he had to say, people. Brian Howard.
Ajá. Y después con Julián Fernández.
Y después con Julián Fernández.
Ya esas dos peleas, ya tuve.
So after this comment.
Dando un poco, tuve un poco más en contacto con los peleadores, tratando de no moverme.
Thank you much for your question, my friend. Frank.
Tuve dando un poco, tuve un poco más en contacto con los peleadores, tratando de no moverme.
I think this was the right question. Hold on.
Porque sé que no gusta aquí. Sé que el boxeo profesional nos gusta, pero bueno, nunca salgo de la táctica mía y no tampoco me dejo provocar como en el caso de Julián Fernández, que me estuvo haciendo así. No, yo mantuve mi ritmo de pelea.
I think it was A-Rod, the one that asked this question.
Que habíamos planeado.
The question coming up next.
No me desesperé hasta que el knockout llegó solo. El knockout no se busca, solamente llega en el momento preciso.
Awesome. Déjame traducir eso bien rápido. Básicamente, G-Funk, his answer was, he does feel a bit of the pressure, but he also knows when to apply the pressure and when to move. For example, 2 fights ago versus Duetko, he was fighting a very short fighter, very short and stocky fighter. So he couldn't give him the opportunity to come in at the short range and make work of him on the inside. So he had to stick and move a little more. And then his other 2 fights against Brian Howard and then Julian, his last fight, he was able to plan himself a little more and execute a different style of boxing. He does know that the technical sweet science is not very accepted.
I talk too damn much.
He does know when to apply the pressure and when to remain calm and box. For example, he said in his last fight, he was never given in to his opponent taunting him and telling him to come in. He remained focused until he saw the knockout, and he took it. So, Frank, G-Funky, thank you so much for your question, my friend. Frank, él tuvo que salir bien rápido porque estaba cuidando a la niña, pero te manda saludo. The next one in line, we will be taking after Transcendent Sport and after A-Rod, we will be taking 2 more questions, people. So I'm going to drop the link. And if you call in, just be patient, and I will get to you 2 more questions after these 2 guys that are in line. A-Rod 83, thank you for being here with us, brother. State your question, my friend.
Buenas noches, ¿cómo están? Acá en California es como las 7 de la noche, no sé qué horario es por allá.
Aquí son las 10:04. Thanks, JC.
Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo le va en el sparring con Canelo? ¿Cómo lo mira en la defensa de él? Porque miré un video que casi le quita la cabeza con una izquierda. ¿Qué opinas, Canelo? ¿Y qué trabajo le puede dar a los peleadores?
So because you kind of cut off a bit, what kind of work, how does he see Canelo? Because he took you cut off a bit. Repeat your question.
I seen a video where he almost took Canelo's head off before his last.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how he thinks his defense is compared to give anybody trouble in 168, 160.
So basically, they want to know, first of all, how you doing, and then básicamente quiere saber primero cómo estás, cómo ves el trabajo con el Canelo. Dice que él vio un video donde por poco le arrancabas la cabeza al Canelo de un gancho de izquierda. ¿Cómo ves al Canelo y qué opinas de él en la 168? ¿Quién le puede dar problema en la 168 al Canelo?
Bueno, en los sparring y allá arriba con
Listen to this.
Saúl, el sparring que vio que le tiré como un hook bien de poder. No es que yo le tiro tan suave, flojo, yo le tiro duro a Canelo.
The translation's coming up.
Fuerte, todo el mundo sabe que es fuerte y sabe bastante porque ha aprendido en su carrera.
Mm-hmm.
Y en su peso, yo digo, para ganarle va a ser difícil. También bien difícil. Yo hago sparring con él y yo que soy heavyweight, yo mismo a veces le tiro golpes de fuerza, a veces golpes fuertes, porque yo tengo técnica y él me da golpes también. Entonces, pero se me hace tan complicado, ¿sabes? Y es un peleador bien difícil, bien duro, bien fuerte y es súper difícil. Ha aprendido demasiado en el boxeo y para ganarle, yo no creo que hasta ahora va a ser bien difícil que alguien le gane. Bien difícil.
Awesome. Basically, the question from A-Rod, you guys heard it, to give his assessment on Canelo. His answer is, listen, when I spar Canelo, I don't throw soft. I throw hard. And he's able to take it. Canelo is very, very, very fast. I myself am a very technical boxer, and he's still able to cut the ring and catch me and hit me. When we spar, we go at it very, very hard. And Canelo is just very tough and rugged. To beat him at 168 pounds, as of now, we can't see nobody doing it because of the simple fact that he moves really well. Canelo has learned a lot how to box, and he hits him like if he was a heavyweight, and he's able to just stand there and take the shots. A-Rod, I hope that satisfied your question, my friend. Say your farewells, and I will go to Transcendent Sport.
Gracias y sabes que tiene el apoyo mexicano de California, del Centro Valle, del 559, y mucha suerte para los siguientes.
So you heard it there, man. People say Caleb Plant and Benavidez can knock out Canelo. I believe in more from Benavidez, but then you got to take into consideration what Canelo teammate just said. You know, and this is a heavyweight talking. This is a heavyweight that in his last fight, he knocked his opponent out of the ring, broke his jaw. The guy has power. And he said, look, I hit the kid like if I was fighting, not if like I hit the kid hard. I don't hit him soft. Right? And he's able to take it and come back. He is extremely hard, very difficult. When asked who can beat him, he said, look, I don't see nobody beating him. Now, mind you, this is boxing. Anything can happen. For all we know, Canelo gets in there tomorrow against his uncle and his uncle knocks him out, or against Benavidez and Benavidez goes to distance. It's boxing, right? But we only have these types of evidence to base our comment off of. And Caleb Plant, I'm sorry. If we line Canelo in front of you, I don't seem to think you're going to knock him down. Let me see what the new Manny Pacquiao in the house has. No offense, but you look like Boxing Eagle. I mean,
Emo.
Yo, listen, hold on. We're working. You know, the racist fans.
The racist.
Working.
What are you gonna start blocking a bunch of people, man?
Get that fool out of the chat. Time him.
Time that guy out
of here. Get that fool out of here. See, that's what they do. You're not gonna get that here. You're absolutely.
And then the only comments they read is like when you like donate some money, you know.
For sure. Guy Cuba in the building. Welcome, my brother. Welcome, my brother. So, what are your thoughts, Nopal, on this whole ordeal surrounding Manny Pacquiao, surrounding Ryan Garcia? Because I didn't get your perspective on that.
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't know what to say because I was looking forward to Ryan Garcia having a good career. But if he fights Manny Pacquiao, he's getting knocked the fuck out, basically, bro.
Max.
Excuse my language. He's probably going to get knocked out easily, you know? And, you know, we're already worried about his chin, basically. You know, that's something that he's got to work on, you know, maybe do some neck exercises or something. But, you know, basically he's outmatched by a lot, you know, skill, everything you can think of, he's outmatched. Even speed, you know? Pacquiao still got some good footwork. He's got power. He's got everything. I mean, I don't think Ryan can do absolutely nothing to Pacquiao. So I'm worried about it that way. Then they said it's an exhibition. Then I'm like, well, I guess Ryan Garcia just wants to be a money fighter now. You know what I mean? He's going to be one of them boxers. So I don't know what to say, man. You know, if you're worried about Ryan Garcia's career, I guess the exhibition thing would be better for him. But as far as being a real boxing fan and all that, you know, that's where it doesn't make no sense. You know what I mean? We really don't know what this is all about. It could be a huge lie. I don't know. Maybe both of them are using it for publicity. You know, I really don't know what to think. I don't agree with the fight, man. I don't agree with the fight at all.
Me neither, man. Me neither. And that's the thing, you know, when you have a fighter like Ryan Garcia, so young, brings the following that he brings, whether they're hardcore fans or not, it doesn't matter. You know, he's still putting the butts in the seats the nights that he fight. The sport is getting some sort of exposure. Okay, say out of 17 million people combined between Instagram and YouTube, say out of those 17 million, only 1,000 people remain as true boxing fans. That's still 1,000 people we didn't have in the past, you know. But then you create these moves, and as a consequence of creating these moves, we see Tank Davis exiting the building. Like, oh, so you're gonna go for Pacquiao for an exhibition instead of me? Bye. I'm not interested in the fight. Gone. A potential great fight, gone. Like that. And as of now, like I was saying, I haven't heard Pacquiao say anything about this fight.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. The only place that I want to interject a little is right there. I mean, Ryan Garcia just scored supposedly, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying he just scored something with Gatorade. I'm pretty sure we all heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, that just puts him out of that level where you already know how these other guys how they negotiate and everything. So that puts it out of our reach now, definitely, because we all know that the other guys were going to claim they were the A side. Now, how do they do that? So that definitely that Gatorade contract changes everything, because ain't no way Mayweather's going to let Tank Davis be the B side to anybody.
Hell no.
There's no way. We already know how their get down. So that right there already ruined the whole fight, you know? I don't even think, and I don't think at this point, I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to say, hey, that's okay, I'll be the B side, that type of thing, you know? So it's kind of, you know, I hate to really say that, but, you know, that's just the way that is right there. And, you know, that sucks.
It is.
So I don't know if, I don't know where Ryan Garcia's, we could probably kiss his career goodbye now, you know, as a real fighter now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a good fight, the one he just had. But, you know, with all this other stuff getting in the way, you know, it's hard to be a real boxer when you're sleeping in silk sheets, right? You know, it's kind of hard. So, you know, I guess we got to move on to the other legacy fighters, bro. You know,
for real, man, for real. So Puerto Rican Rome here says the Tank will come back in a second if Ryan really called. It makes sense from a money standpoint, but listen to what Nopal just said, Puerto Rican. That deal with Gatorade places Ryan as an A side in anything. And then you have to deal with Floyd Mayweather. The question here is Floyd Mayweather out Ryan to be B side? Hey, Rod in the building. What's up, my brother?
Mandamos, gente.
You know
what up, my boy A-Rod? ¿Cómo estás?
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo está el weather por allá en Stockton, viejo?
Yo.
Muy bien, man. Está bien sunny ahorita. Yeah.
No, nice. Not over here. Over here, we got some Arctic winds.
Woo! Sorry for that, brother.
And and we got some snow in the way. So, nah, we don't have no sunny weather over here, brother. I'm telling you.
Entonces nos quedamos en California with all the laws and stuff instead of putting away the cold weather and all that stuff.
No. Trust me when I tell you, I love California, especially up there by the Donner area, Donner Summit area. I've been around that area a lot, but it's just the law. The law steal it away from me. My family lives out there in Sacramento, so you know, yeah, man, I love California.
Hey, give me and A-Rod a ring when you head out this way, bro. We're also in Northern Cali.
For sure, man.
So give us a ring for sure, man.
For sure, man. So, A-Rod, give me your thoughts on this Pacquiao or Ryan Garcia ordeal, man, and what can we expect, man?
Yo digo que está bien, bro, porque, I mean, 147, el Pacquiao was holding up everything, and honestamente, I mean, we all want to see everybody get that belt, and if he's just going to pull the side and just fight, exhibition fight, or even Ryan's still starting up, you know what I mean, he's going to whoop that ass, honestly, you know what I mean? Pacquiao's going to whoop that ass.
Oh, okay.
That's an easy fight for him, you know what I mean? That's not. Well, what kind of competition is that? We're going to criticize Canelo for fighting a champion that's low level, but we ain't going to criticize Pacquiao for it. I mean, it only took like 2 days for them to criticize Pacquiao, and then ahí viene Canelo otra vez.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, we got to keep the same energy across the spectrum. Nobody.
Es lo mismo que digo que también, I mean, it's everywhere. Canelo hate is everywhere. Because I go to the Spanish channels, and the hate is there too.
Yeah,
I told Chicano Prophet, I think his channel I Tiro, and then No Puedes Jugar Boxeo. Those guys get criticized a lot for backing up Canelo on all his stuff from everybody.
It is what it is at the end of the day.
Eso le digo a la gente, ¿quién le puede dar la pelea a Canelo? Who could give him the fight for us to give him that credit, like a Chavez, like a Sanchez, like a Morales, and all that? Nobody could do that, especially Canelo having the skill that he has. Imagine that those guys back then, they had the side-to-side movement, but if they had Canelo's movement, upper body movement, how much more damage would they have done? How much easier of a fight would they have gotten with all those wins that they had, with all the wars? It would have been a whole different fight. You get what I'm saying?
What was Pac-Man holding up? That's the question that the chat. If you want to elaborate on that, I know the answer, but since you're the one that brought it up,
What is it?
the one of the subscribers here wanted to know, in your opinion, what was Pacquiao holding up?
The belt. We're trying to get unified. We're trying to get one undisputed champ. If he don't fight Crawford or he don't fight Spence, I mean, those guys don't get a shot at his belts or one belt that matters, right?
I mean, think about it. This belt was at risk of being in the line against a UFC fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not so much just Pacquiao holding up the division. Yes, he was, but also think of this for a second as well. Pacquiao is not able to come to the United States anytime soon. Yeah. Not only because of COVID, the Philippines, you heard it from one of my Philippine subscribers last night. The Philippines is literally, look at Casemiro. The fight with Rigo cannot take place. One, because they can't find him. Two, because he can't travel. And on top of that, Pacquiao, if he was to leave the Philippines right now, it wouldn't look good on his political campaigning. So,
sí, pero si se va a poder salir de his country to fight a Ryan, then he could fight a Spence. You know what I'm saying? He could fight anybody. So if he's going to leave his country to during this time, then he should fight somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that I wasn't in agreement. I don't care how much legacy you have. I don't care how much of a legend you are. If you have a belt and you go past a year and a half without defending that belt, I mean, we got to start doing something about it.
They said you're 40-something years old, you're a legend and everything, but you're still active. I mean,
and at the end of the day, he didn't do anything.
He's active. They said, well, Mayweather is doing it. Well, he's not active. He's not an active fighter. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, they used to do it back in the day too, with Mosley, with Shaq, and De La Hoya and Shaq, and freaking Mayweather with Big Show and stuff. But those were all like garbage. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It wasn't holding up really anything, because that could have just been made in one day, and they could have fought like 2 months later.
And at the end of the day, the corruption in the sanctioning bodies is making sure that he's just at recess, because they still want that commission out of him. You know what I mean? So he gets to come back, and he can either just be given the belt back, which is crazy, or he gets to fight whoever's holding the belt. So that's a potential matchup with either Spence or Ugas, if Ugas beats Spence.
Yeah, that's kind of a way to make him like a franchise champ in a way, huh?
Yeah.
Putting him in recess like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think about it, even if you really think about it, people like to say that Canelo was the first franchise champ. But no, if you go back to Mayweather's career, I mean, when did he have to fight a mandatory ever? You know what I mean? If you really think about it, him and guys like Wilder, they were allowed to fight a lot of fighters that weren't even at their level. So, these are kind of like franchise champs too. But not saying that I agree with the whole franchise thing at all, because it is whack, But as far as I think when you look at the 147 landscape, them guys aren't really making any kind of legacy moves their own damn selves. You know what I mean? If I was Spence and I really cared about being remembered as a great, or if I was really, a legacy fighter, I'd be finding out a way to get that Crawford fight.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, sometimes we got to ask these boxers, what are you willing to do to earn this fight? Or how far are you willing to go to get this fight? And we don't do that enough, Like when you got a guy like Charlo, you really, the real question is, what are you willing to do to get the Canelo fight? Are you willing to fight Andrade? And, and then we also got to ask his fans, are you guys willing to, are you willing to ask Charlo to fight Andrade and in return get that Canelo fight? That's what they should be doing. But no, that's why they make it so hard for you to even, debate them, because you're like, well, if you're not doing your part, then why should I even debate you?
Correct. So I'll just say to Hypotype, man, if you got something to say, man, there's the link. Major Key Boxing. What up, my brother? Everybody subscribe to Major Key. Also, if you want to come in, bro, it's open. There it is. There's the key. Listen, we're not gonna block you for having a difference of opinion. We're not gonna time you out, kick you out, or anything like that, man. My platform is it's I like to consider it a bubble of freedom, if you will. The only thing you don't have freedom to do in this platform is to be racist and disrespectful at a high level. So feel free to come in. There you go, Hypo. There you go, man. Come on, talk to us, brother. Oh, he felt.
Una cosa, bro. Eso sí tiene razón, Nopal. Is that back in the day, bro? No matter how much money, because Mayweather didn't pay good money to any fighter. He was winning, but those guys accepted it because wanted to give him that. Oh, you know what I mean, they wanted that smoke. No, I'm coming to be the one that gives them that. Oh, he ain't gonna be. He ain't gonna be oh no more. He's gonna be that Mayweather that has no oh. You know what I mean, everybody took that fight. That's one thing that I can say about the past is that everybody didn't care about the money. Is that they wanted to give that guy. They wanted that smoke from Floyd.
Hypo type in the building. What's up, my brother? Thank you for joining us. Just share your thoughts here, man. Like I told you, this is not a channel where you either agree with us or else. You know, here you're welcome to speak.
Bro, I'm not sensitive. No, Paul knows me. I think A-Rod knows me. I just haven't
what up,
met you
Haplo
yet.
type? Of course.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Raw
as well.
Boxing. I know you from D-Styles channel. Listening to that, but anyway, my difference of opinion is this. I think a lot of hardcore boxing fans like myself never believed this Ryan Garcia Pacquiao fight was ever going to happen. And I think we found out in the past couple of days that was all a pipe dream all along, like we thought.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the WBA and I've got Manny Pacquiao finally as my super champ, like, this is a legend of the sport. He's holding your super title. Like, you've got the most prestigious guy, the best guy that can get you the most sanctioning fees and all that kind of stuff. Why strip him and put Ugas in there? Because what you're doing is you're giving Crawford and Spence, both, mostly Spence, but Crawford and Spence, a third option to where they don't have to fight each other. When Manny Pacquiao was there, they kind of had to fight each other because no one's really guaranteed a Pacquiao fight, right? So they were kind of under pressure, like, oh shit, we got to fight each other. Excuse my language. We got to fight each other. And, you know, the winner is going to get Pacquiao, or we can both try to angle for the Pacquiao fight. Now, we already know the Pacquiao ducked Crawford when he was over at Top Rank. They tried to make that fight. It didn't happen. He lost to Horn, and then Crawford got the Horn belt. But then it still never happened, and then Pacquiao jumped ship and moved over to PBC. So you got to think, okay, the likely fight, the most likely Pacquiao fight there is Spence versus Pacquiao because they're both on PBC now, right? But that didn't happen. And Spence kept trying to make it happen. Then he started talking about Canelo. And Pacquiao wasn't really talking about fighting Spence. He says he's too slow, this, that, and the other thing. And then this rumor came out about Ryan Garcia, which wasn't true. And they stripped him. They should have just left him in there, because now that you have Ugas in there, now you're giving both of them an excuse. Well, I could go fight Ugas and get that other belt. Feel me?
I see what you're saying now. Before we let Major Key, first of all, Major Key, welcome. Before I let you guys keep talking, I just want to ask a question to a subscriber. Rude Boy, are you Rude Boy the barber from Maryland, from Instagram? Just answer real quick. And if you are, man, there's the link. Come on in, man. I've been chopping it up. And I like your content on Instagram, brother. So if that's you, there's the link. Come on in, man. So Major Key, before I let you go. So Hyploid, you ask Pacquiao being the top man when it comes to publicity, the highest cash cow. Why strip him when he's holding your belt, when he can give you the most commission? Remember one thing here. He still has the opportunity to come back and get that belt. Now
but to me, that's just creating another like franchise WBA super.
It is exactly that. It is exactly that, and that's what me and Nopal was talking about. And I'm not fully for it, but there's an upside. Look at what the subscribers here said. Ugas deserves it. I have to partially agree with it. Maybe there's a little bias on my end because I'm also Cuban, but I feel that Ugas should be a little higher in the status that he currently is, because
Look, I like Ugas, but now you're giving them both a chance to go, okay, I'll fight Ugas instead of fighting Spence or Crawford. Like,
Okay.
you know, like when Pacquiao was there, they both wanted the Pacquiao fight. We knew that. They both said, I would rather fight Pacquiao. No one can blame them for that because
Okay.
it's the biggest payday. But now, aside from Pacquiao fighting one of them, what we had was the only option they really had was to fight each other to get another belt. Now they have this other option with Ugas, which to me is, you know, an easy out for Spence because he could just go fight Ugas instead of Crawford. Now we still don't get the Crawford-Spence fight.
Or Pacquiao can fight Ugas. You know, that ain't a bad mandatory, man. That ain't a bad mandatory when you look at all the very low.
But a champion in recess has no mandatory.
True. But I mean, you never know. They might just say, "Hey, you got to fight Ugas." And
no.
I'm
But
pretty sure.
counting that Ugas wins, counting that Ugas wins against Spence, if he wins, then yeah, Pacquiao has no mandatory, but Pacquiao is still the champion at Reese's, and according to their own ruling, Pacquiao has the first shot coming back. He going straight for the belt regardless of who's holding it. So
yeah, but that's holding up the whole thing that we wanted to see. We either wanted to see one of three things. We wanted to see Pacquiao versus Spence, Pacquiao versus Crawford, or Crawford versus Spence. Now they've thrown like a whole different set of parameters into it, and they change their rules all the time anyway, bro. So like it's just
they do.
To me, it was a dumb move to strip Pacquiao.
They do, but also remember something. Pacquiao has a better fault in this as well, because Pacquiao was the one that was going to go fight an MMA fighter and potentially put the belt on the line.
But that fight was never official. None of these things were ever official.
No, I agree with you, but remember, with these two mega fighters, such as Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao, first Conor McGregor was already in line to fight at the UFC, so. You know, it's one of those things.
Conor McGregor got smoked.
No, I agree. And I'm glad he did. But remember, and to keep it in the context in what we're talking about here, I think Pacquiao also carries a bit of fault on this whole mess as well, because at the end of the day, the fight against either of these two fighters, Spence or Crawford, could have been made easy. It's kind of like a Mayweather. If Mayweather calls on your door now,
I respect. Thanks for letting me come on, but I mean, they let Thurman keep that WBA super longer than they let Pacquiao, and he was off playing the flute for 2 years. So give me a fucking break.
Yeah. No, I agree, but remember, the ruling of the sanctioning fee states that the reason they allowed him to keep that belt for so long was because of injury. So
that's true. His shoulder was out, bro.
Yeah, so
he hit him on the shoulder.
That's what they said with no proof.
So all we got to do, man, as a content creator, only thing I got to base my content on is what's the evidence that's being provided to us. And unfortunately, that's the evidence. The reason Thurman kept that belt as long as he did, according to their own ruling, maybe because of the injuries. So, but I have a question to you though. Has Pacquiao really lost something? No, because
he's still the top dog.
Yeah, if he still remains Major Key, I'll let you in right now. I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk a lot.
He has. He lost the status of the WBA.
Hey,
but
he's
what's
still the Kovalev of 147, bro? Technically,
I understand what
you're cutting up.
He hasn't lost anything because he's Pacquiao, but
no. Watch this, because you're cutting off, friend. You're cutting off, my friend. So I don't know what part of your house you're in, but watch this. When I said he lost something, it's not only considering that he is a legend. It's not only considering that he is the man up in line when he comes back. Is watch this. Say that he hasn't gotten stripped. He still isn't fighting. Well, when he comes back to fight, that belt's still on the line. Well, it's the same thing. He's on recess. So when he comes back, that belt's still on the line.
Let's say he comes back and fights Crawford. Does he get the super back?
He is in place to get that back. According
No,
to the ruling,
he doesn't get it back because he's fighting for the WBO now.
oh, against Crawford.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta put their mic on. Major Key, what's up, brother?
¿Qué volá, mano?
¿Qué volá, Seri?
¿Qué volá, cubano? ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Todo
You
bien?
know, brother, we're hitting, man.
Mira, listen, on some real shit, man. You know, I hear where the dude is coming from. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he didn't sign him off because you know, at the end of the day, what I believe, what I believe is this. Look, your man Pacquiao is in recess, right? And the reason for it, I'm not gonna necessarily agree. But I didn't agree with everything that was going on with the belt with the WBC either. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's a lot of shit going on, and you know, so at the end of the day, WBA was probably the first ones to victimize the game of boxing, and then after that, it was WBC, and the WBC's been doing it a lot harder since then, right? So what I think, don't be surprised if they throw into the game, not just for recess injury, but for political reasons. Don't be surprised if that happens in the future. And I'm just thinking business-wise, politically-wise, everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, just think about that. Because your man Pacquiao is the first person that's been a fucking government body in boxing at the same time. So don't be surprised.
I mean, there's a difference
like
between being a senator in the Philippines and being a governing body in boxing.
No. I didn't mix the two up. If you mix the two up, let me clarify for you because I didn't say that at all. So don't put words in my mouth. What I'm saying is he is a senator in the Philippines, and that's never happened, whether in the United States or any other place in the world. Period. Unless you can clarify that and say something different, then don't try to put words in my mouth to try to confuse the situation.
I'm saying there's a difference between a governor and the Philippines.
Well, no, I didn't say governor. I said governing body. He's a governing body, which is the Senate.
No.
Senate.
The distinction
Senate
I'm trying to make.
Body.
The distinction I'm trying to make.
Brother, don't let's not get political. Don't interrupt my point. Don't need to interrupt my point to talk semantics because you're going to lose every time.
All right,
okay?
No, but you're making a bad point because
I'm making a perfect point. The point is that you're not listening. So the fact that you're interrupting says that you're already angry about my point because it's deflating everything that you said. So the fact that you're interrupting. You're interrupting, right? What I'm saying shows that you are feeling bad about your point right now, and you're feeling like I'm cornering you somewhere. I don't mean to do that. I automatically said I'm glad that you're here. So let me finish my point. Unless you want to ramble on, I could just let you talk. I was quiet for like fucking 10 minutes. But if you want me to be quiet again, I will be. Cool. And then when I come back on, then be quiet, and then I'll shut you down again.
That's all good. Make your point.
So before I let you two go on. Yeah, let's wait till one finishes their point so that we don't create confusion on the people watching the show, right? And then when somebody's talking, let's just give them the respect they deserve so that they can state their point. So,
Sorry.
Yeah, let's just keep it. Listen, we at the end of the day, we don't have to have the same points of view on something, but if we can keep it respectful and in order, then my subscribers are going to get the best of the argument. And at the end of the day, we can also electronically shake hand at the end of the argument and go our different way. So go ahead, whoever's turn it was.
I'm going to let him go because he had something that he disagreed with what I was saying, so I'll let him go.
All right, brother.
Okay. The only distinction I wanted to make was when you say governing body, it makes it sound like he's part of like one of the governing bodies of boxing. But what he is a government official in the Philippines. That was the only distinction I was trying to make.
Okay, I guess since you said that, so it's my turn to go, correct?
Yes, it's your turn to go uninterrupted.
Okay, thank you. So I think that everybody else that was not arguing a point understood what I meant. Okay, so my point being, he's a senator, like you said, right? He's a governing body, okay? As a senator, Senate is a governing body in the country of the Philippines. Period. The point is that there's not been a political figure, right, to that extreme governing body, because if I said political figure, then that would have been taken off as semantics as well, because Muhammad Ali was a political figure. So I was very cautious of what I said, which was governing body. He's an official, like you said, okay, for the Philippines. So there's never been somebody that actually has a position and has to do certain jobs during certain times of the year. And so that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're starting to figure something out, because guess what? Like every other sport, every single year in the NFL, they have new terms, new rules, just like every other sport. Every single sport has new rules every year to every other year. Okay, so again, boxing does the same thing. Not as frequently, which they should. That's why the game is so corrupt, because everybody's still doing the Don King and the Bob Arum thing from back in the days in the 50s, and it's still working now. It shouldn't work, because we should have already put things in place to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's happening. And so maybe, they took the opportunity to say, you know what? We're going to put him in recess, because guess what? Yeah, we're going to get that commission, and we probably got a lane here to make it justified. So whether you think it's right or not, guess what? WBC did what they did, and I didn't agree with it neither. I don't agree with the WBA doing it before the WBC did it. You know what I'm saying? With adding all these belts. You know what I'm saying? There's too many belts. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You can't say that it's just Manny Pacquiao's fault. Manny Pacquiao's already a legend, bro. He could do whatever the hell he wants, and you could get pissed off about it. You know what I'm saying? You could piss on yourself. You could get mad. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you want to do, but guess what? He's still going down in the Hall of Fame, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't. At the end of the day, man, I don't think. I personally don't like, nor do I defend the decisions of the sanctioning body. And Hyplo, I'll give you the mic here in a second. I just wanted to throw this in there. First of all, shouts out to Rap Star in the building. Appreciate you, man. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the show.
I
don't think anybody agrees or is happy with the confusion that's being caused in the sport of boxing by the sanctioning bodies. It has us all confused. I mean, for example, look at the WBC. Look at the issues with David Haney and Lopez. Look at the issue with Canelo and the franchise. Now look at the issue with Pacquiao. At the end of the day, I don't think nobody that actually cares for the sport actually agrees with what's happening or with the rules that are being changed and made up as they go by the sanctioning bodies. But at the end of the day, as cold, as dry, as easy as it sounds, that's just what we got, unfortunately. So Pacquiao, when a man does what Pacquiao has done in the sport of boxing, it's really hard to get on him for anything, because look, I defended Mayweather for picking and choosing occasionally, but that's because Mayweather was who he was. As pretty boy, he fought everybody. He controlled boxing. He was bringing in the numbers. He represented money for his local town. So it was there was always fights I wanted to see. They didn't came to fruition, but I kind of understood. I defend Canelo for doing what he's doing now because he has earned the right to do so. Pacquiao is doing what he's doing. I also understand, but in this situation, man, Pacquiao was going to go another way regardless, whether he had the belt or not, whether you want to believe it or not, because although Conor McGregor and Pacquiao wasn't official, when you have fighters of this magnitude, sometimes, hey, we'll talk about it, we'll cook it, and then we'll put it on paper. And this fight was going to create a lot of money. Believe it or not, this fight was going to create a lot of money because Manny Pacquiao brings a country behind him. Not only his own country, but Manny Pacquiao brings a lot of Filipinos out of the United States to support him. And Filipinos wanted to see, can Manny Pacquiao knock Conor McGregor out faster than Mayweather did? All of those things, while being taken under consideration, I don't think Pacquiao was going to fight neither Crawford or Spence next. And it was Manny Pacquiao himself, out of his own word, when being interviewed by one of the a news anchor in his country, when they asked him, who do you want next? He didn't say Spence. He didn't say Crawford. He said McGregor. When asked why, he said, because I want to fight an MMA fighter. And although it wasn't official on paper, when you have two fighters of that magnitude, sometimes even the word makes it official. Then everything else goes into paper once they figured out the number. You got to keep that into consideration, whether you're for or against Pacquiao. Hyplo, the mic is yours, brother.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Major Key Boxing. I came on here because you said come on.
Yeah, man.
I was commenting.
And thank you for coming in.
No problem. My argument was that it was a mistake for the WBA to strip Pacquiao of the super title. Now, if he signed to fight McGregor or if he signed to fight Garcia, I could see them doing that for that reason. No one has ever cited the fact that Pacquiao is a senator for stripping him of anything, including now. But I get the guy's point. I mean, they could take that into consideration. Like, he can't fight all the time, so we're going to put him in recess because he's in the Senate and he's got to take time to do that. But they didn't say that. They didn't cite that as a reason, and I just think it's a mistake because the reason why has nothing to do with him being a senator. And the only distinction I wanted to make was when you say governing body, it could confuse certain people. I get what you were saying, but it could confuse certain people because when you say governing body in boxing, that makes it sound like he's like on the board of the WBA or something, which he isn't. But yes, I understand. He's a senator. They could use that in the factoring of the decision of like, all right, let's put him in recess because he's got to be in the Senate for the next couple months, and he's not going to be able to...
I respect that. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to actually respect that, right? In the context of our discussion, I respect that you were trying to clarify that for the casuals, right? But I was trying to say that we should already know that as far as like pugilists. But
I would call him like a government official rather than a governing body.
No problem.
Just because when I hear governing body, I think WBA, WBC, and all those. But anyway, my point coming in, I don't know if you were on or not, but was that by putting Ugas in there, they took the pressure off of Spence and Crawford to fight each other. Because with Manny Pacquiao there, with that WBA super, and him not really saying he was going to fight either one, it's like they had nowhere else to go but each other. Now they have this other option with Ugas to get that WBA super to get closer, but the fight I want to see is Spence versus Crawford. So by putting Ugas in there, now, they made it easier for either one of those guys to go fight Ugas instead of fighting each other. So that, to me, is a reason why it was bad to strip Manny Pacquiao.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It made it easier. It made it easier for Spence because they're in the same camp. And one more thing I'll say, and my bad, I just want to clarify in the discussion. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to also the thing about the governing body or governing official or sanctioning body, whatever the confusion was, but the fact that I was saying that. You don't be surprised though, is because that's how they do things. They do things later on, like they make a decision and then they give the reason later. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I've become accustomed to when it comes to boxing. And so so you're right. There's nothing that says that right now. But what I was saying was, don't be surprised if that's the reason they come down with later on. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that there is a reason right now. I haven't read it neither. So I'm just saying, just thinking out the norm. If nobody said it yet on YouTube, you heard it first here from Major Key Boxing. Because I'm a clumsy janitor. I drop keys all over the YTBC. You know what I'm saying?
That's a decent point. I agree. I think it's that's a possibility that could be a factor, but it wasn't the official reason given. But But yeah, I mean that could be a factor for sure, and they can come out later. You know how they do.
It's politics. It's politics, man. But I didn't mean to come and ruffle your feathers like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to make a point though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that type of dude that's like reckless like that, or anything like that. If I got a point to make though, I'm trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was trying to do.
I like the passion.
I appreciate you too, bro. That's why I'm trying to hash it out with you right now. But I digress. I'm a fullback, and you know what I'm saying. My bad. And I appreciate you always having me on, brother. You know what I'm saying. So
man, anytime, man, anytime. And if you want to jump back, if I'm still on when you want to come back in, you know, you got the links right there.
No doubt.
Anybody's opinion is money.
Hey, Rod, I'm gonna give you the mic in a minute. I just want to ask a question to Hyplo, man. So I get that you wanted to see Crawford versus Spence. I think we all want to see that fight. Okay, I think we all want to see that fight. But aside from taking the pressure out, do you not think that Ugas, it's a hell of a fight against Crawford or Spence? Because let's be real, Ugas made Porter look a lot worse than Spence did. Remember, Spence beat Porter based on a knockdown. Ugas, in my opinion, beat Porter and got robbed. That's fact. Even if you take away the knockdown from the
I don't think it's a bad fight, but I look at it this way, bro. There's a top 10 in my mind of fights that I want to see as a fan, as a hardcore fan. Number one is Joshua versus Fury for the undisputed heavyweight. The second one is Crawford versus Spence. That's the second one on my list, and it's been there for 2 years. Now to bring Ugas into the picture, okay, yes, it's a good fight for either guy. Yeah, it's a good fight, but it's not on my top 10 list.
So this is your personal opinion. I get what you're saying. I got you.
My personal top 10.
Your personal
and I
choice.
think a lot of people would agree with that.
No, I agree. I'm not saying that I'd rather see Ugas versus Spence over Ugas versus Crawford. I'm simply trying to put things in perspective here because anybody could get the idea that you're sort of, and I'm not saying that this is exactly what you're doing. I'm saying anybody could get the idea that you're sort of like, Ugas, what is he? You know what I mean? Because Ugas, at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, is one of the top welterweights. Now,
I'm not hating on Ugas at all.
No, I got you. I got you. That's what I said. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. I'm saying that's an idea people at the chat can get. So I'm just trying to make it sort of clarifying it so people don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah, I'd just rather see the Spence Crawford fight we've been waiting for 2.5 years than
I'm with you.
Than either one of them fight Ugas. Now I would have accepted either one of them taking a Manny Pacquiao fight because I know that's a legacy fight with the legend and everything. I would have accepted them taking that fight, either one of them, if they could get it, which they can't. But if they could get it, I would take them fighting Pacquiao before the other guy first. But then I would still want to see them fight each other. But with Ugas, it just throws this other option in there that's just going to make it easier for us not to get the fight we really want right now. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. That's fair. Rap star in the building. Welcome, my brother. Welcome. Hope the cold weather. Well, is it cold in England right now, brother? I don't know. I don't know what the weather's like in England right now, but welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. No, man, I get what you're saying. And like I said, my panel is for you to share your opinion, whether it's hand in hand with mine or not, just as long as we keep it as respectful as possible. You know what I mean? But if that is your opinion, man, it's respected. Now, if we can switch out of this subject, or unless anybody else has anything to add to this subject before we move on to the next one.
No, I'm actually full back, but unless Rapstar wants to take my place, Rapstar, get the hell up on this panel, man. Stop sitting in the background, damn chat warrior. Get up here, bro. But besides that, man, what's the next topic? And I'll let you know if I want to cook or I already been cooking on that for a minute. Because if I've been cooking on that for a long time, man, I'm just gonna, I'm saying, leave it up to y'all guys.
Next topic is a very short one, but here at the Raw TV, man.
I know. I got you.
Come on.
So what's the next topic?
We'll go into the people's thoughts. Apparently, Bill Haney part ways with his son today.
Yeah. So I'll give my quick point, man. I actually hit up Punch right after that because he got a little relationship.
True.
And he said, "Look, man, it's not really a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because he never really played a part like that. He's still going to be in his corner, but not as a trainer, right? And he never trained him really like that anyway. So really, it was no big deal. You see what I'm saying? But me, the way that Showbiz the Adult put it down, you know what I'm saying? Like, and certain channels put it down. I thought it was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But apparently it wasn't really like a big deal like that. So I wait to see what happens, you know, on that. So that's my spiel on that. But I'll fall back for a minute, man. But I appreciate you having me on, bro.
Anytime, my brother. You know this is your house too, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. I'll be listening to the comments.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. HLD, welcome, man. You've been.
Hey, good evening, guys.
How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Been dodging you guys for a minute. Doing good, man. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. Talk to us.
Yes, I definitely could. I wanted to chirp in a little bit with the Bill Haney. It just sounds funny now. It's not a big deal, like old man just said right now. Like, really? As much as that man is everywhere chirping, I think it is a big deal. I think it's just that everybody's buddies behind the scenes, and nobody's really talking about it. If you look at any of the other channels, you know, it would have been frontline news if it was anything else. But it's definitely only one or two channels who's only spoken about it.
Yeah, I thought it was the way that was told to me by a certain subject. It sounded to me like, damn, they beefing. And then I was like, let me go to the chat. I'm not even going to go and read this because I don't have time to read no articles. I'm just going to throw a live, invite people in. I'm pretty sure somebody has read something. So I'm kind of glad to know that it's not like them actually beefing.
No, it's not. It's not like a Mayweather Senior and Mayweather Junior type of thing. I don't think it's that. It's just the reality. I think Bill knows he's messed up for the past year and a half.
Of course.
He's messed up big time. His path for his son to reach to the title is, look at it right now. He's on an island, doesn't know where to go. You know what I mean? And you know, the Lopez, they were smart. They architected their way to get to the championship and prove it. You know, and right now his son is on an island. He's on a, you know, and let's like make sure and clear that whatever I'm saying has nothing to do with him being a father or anything like that, because you know this is just strictly boxing and boxing business.
Correct.
Bill has messed up for the past year and a half. He needed someone to help him out in guiding some of the nuances into guiding his son into a better position, because right now he's stuck on an island. I mean, who's he gonna fight? Who they're gonna put in front of him? You know what I mean? The paper champ, all this stuff is not good. It's not good for his reputation. You know what I mean? And his development. I mean, it hasn't soared. He's got 25, 26 fights. It hasn't soared. So I think it's a good move. I think it's just a good move to find somebody who's a little bit more involved in the grit of boxing and knows what it takes to push his son into the right direction, training wise, and in the business of boxing.
Gotcha.
Because it's, you know.
So, have you heard anything? I know that they were planning on suing the WBC. Has that come to fruition, or was it just a verbal threat?
I think it's all a verbal threat, man. You know, he's looking bad, and Bill goes on every channel, you know, just trying to defend his honor and whatever he's trying to accomplish with the narrative pushing too, because he's part of that stuff too. Unfortunately, he really is, you know. So I think it's just, I mean, what's he gonna do? Just get his money back, or trying to get his? Because he's not gonna get recognition. He's not gonna get his son's respect in court or whatever. That in boxing, I always say that you earn it in the ring. Facts. And so, you know, that's just the way it is. Lopez earned it in the ring, and that's where he's at. You know, he can call the shots however way he wants, and you know, his son is right now. I don't know if what's next, if it's Fortuna or who else is in the picture.
Gotcha. A-Rod, you got anything to say on this matter, my friend?
On Haney's part, I mean, I don't know too much. I haven't been on the internet except for your channel today. When it's my day off, I stay off the internet anyway. But it's something interesting. I mean, like HLD said, Haney's always on Drew's channel, always pulling up on people. You know what I mean? They're talking about his son or whatever. It's cool that he does that, but I always thought that since Haney was in the Mayweather gym, I thought Mayweather was gonna pick him up. You know what I mean? I thought he was gonna be something right there like Tank is now, but it went a different way. I've been following him since back then. That's why I'm more of a fan of a Haney than any of the other 135 pounders, because I've been looking at him for a while too. And at 135, I mean, they all just finished fighting, and like we can't get the fights like at the snap of a finger. You know what I mean? They all could be talking. We could all be talking right now, but they all could be talking at the same time. How other channels have brought it up. What if they are talking? You know what I mean? What if they are trying to just make these fights and something else is going behind the scenes?
It could be. It's a fair fair assessment, since we don't really know what's going on under the table.
Yeah.
But to HLD's point, one thing, I never knocked Bill for doing what he was doing for his son, applying pressure publicly on the public eye. What I did knock was the double standards. Okay, the double standards that were being created, that he was creating out here in the YTBC, because he would go to Punch Channel and say that Lopez is ducking him. Then Lopez seniors would come in, confront him. So you're saying we're ducking your son? Is that what you're saying, Bill? And then, no, sir, that's not what I'm saying. So what is it? And so then he would get out of Punch Channel and he would go to Kaka TV, and he would sit there and he would play into the narrative, and whatever Kaka TV said, he will be, you know what I mean? And so as a fan, you're listening to this man having two different arguments. When he's a free-for-all, he will say, my son's being ducked by Lopez. When he has the Lopez in front of him, he will have mixed comments. Yeah, you're ducking me. Oh, no, you're not ducking me. What you talking about? My son's the money man. Oh, I'm not going to stand in the way of 10 millions. Go get it. So I see what HLD Point's doing. He went around with good intentions to create pressure in the public eye and bring the fights to his son, when in reality, the double standards in his comments could have potentially brought the situation that Haney's in. If you ask right now who wants to fight Haney, nobody.
And he has a belt.
And he has a belt. Now, is it because they're ducking him, or is it because nobody wants to see the fight? Who knows? We don't know. But I think I kind of agree up to a certain level with HLD here. That double standard that Bill Haney was spreading around the YTBC, I think he's catching up to them, man. I think
what he did is he opened up a can of worms to put a mirror right in front of him, because we're not stupid. We know what's going on, and we see what you do here and what you say there and what you come here and with. But then we can just see the facts of what's going on, just with the career that your son is having at the moment, and how everything's been going on for the past year or so. And I saw this coming. I don't know if you guys saw the live that World Combat Sports had against Haney, but he cooked them. He cooked them so good like a week ago.
Are you serious? No, I have to go.
Oh, you gotta see this.
That was on that one too.
World Combat Sports. He went on to the Narrative Pusher channel, and we're not gonna say. I'll tell you later. But man, he went on there to their panel, and you know how they try to like gang up on the guy. And World Combat Sports, man, look, man, the man is a veteran. He's a Marine. He's tactful.
So he
knows
liked
oh man, he was calm as a cucumber while they all were just ganging up on him. But guess what, man? He put Bill in his place, and he cooked them on both sides. Well done. Well done.
He left them speechless. Kept on going back and forth on against what he's doing.
He had the info on him. He had the info on how you want to play the game that that Loma ducked his son.
Oh gosh.
He put out there, nah, that's not what happened. He told them, nah, don't try to play as a bill with that. You guys outpriced yourselves against Loma at 2.5 million. And so Loma said, well, forget you then. So then we're gonna go with the franchise and give it to Lopez, and Lopez took it for 1.2. You know what I mean? And so that's how that all came about, to my understanding with that.
I definitely gotta go check that out.
Oh, you need to. Dude, the man stood there for like 3 hours with those guys.
That's
and beautiful. They were and look, all by himself, he cooked them. And I saw that coming. So that right now, hearing him, resigning from the position or whatever it is,
stepping aside as the vocal man for the team, I guess.
I think it's just a good move. I think if they now find the right guy, maybe one of the Mayweather Senior, Mayweather Senior to help him in his development in boxing, and
that's a good move though. That is
not going with the Mayweather Junior top, but just having Mayweather Senior come in and train him, or one of the other elite guys. There's a lot of elite guys out there who could bring the bacon home for this kid.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that the kid has got talent, but it's unproven talent. Who said?
I get what you're saying. It is unproven talent, and that was one of my arguments in the defense of the Lopez going for Kambosos first or going for anybody else other than Haney. Because look, at the end of the day, I want to see the best fights. I do believe David Haney is top level competition because I see the level of boxing that he brings. Yes, he hasn't been tested. I get that. I'm looking at it from the boxing eye, from the experience of being a fighter. I can see that he's top level competition, but in the professional game, there has to be a monetary incentive, not just skills. And that's something that took me a long time to learn because I was very passionate about the sport. I was very passionate about the best fighting the best, but sometimes the best fighter in the division, unfortunately, does not have the monetary incentives. You know what I mean? And so for example, when Ryan Garcia, I'll give you an example. When Ryan Garcia asked the crowd, who do you want next? Nobody said David Haney. They started chanting Tank. When Lopez was going to fight Kambosos, his mandatory, I'll ask the panel, who has a more exciting style, Kambosos or Haney? If you truly want to be honest with yourself,
Kambosos, man.
Kambosos has a more exciting style.
It's going to be in your face.
But you might say, well, Ranger, that's not enough. Okay, here, how's this? Australia was putting up $10 million. Can you honestly sit here and tell me that DAZN was going to put up $10 million? No, not with Haney. Never. And Bill Haney said it best. He said, Lopez Senior, so can I go get $4 million from DAZN? And what did Lopez Senior say? Do it. But notice it wasn't 10, it was just 4. Out of their own mouth. So I never knocked with the man with the intentions behind the things he was doing. What I did was I was cold-heartedly against the double standards. Every time he went to a different channel, he played into their narrative. You represent your son. You're representing your son. You're a public figure. You think we're just going to sit here and forget about what you say? No. And that's the reason World Combat Sport cooked you.
He cooked them good and with facts. And, they were calling him out of name and everything. And my man was, it was good. That's all I can say.
I agree with what you're saying. I also think Haney is a better fighter. But contextualize what I'm saying here. When you put together the fact that Kambosos is the mandatory, when you put together the fact that Kambosos has a more exciting style, and when you put together the undisputable fact that there was 10 millions on the line, come on, man. I mean, it made no sense at that point to say, Kambosos, step to the side. Let me just go ahead and get that smoke from Haney. You know what I mean?
Right.
It made sense from a business standpoint and from a boxing standpoint to go for Kambosos. One, because that's his mandatory. And I, for once, want to see one day mandatories being respected. But I also want to see mandatories becoming mandatories by fighting through a tournament.
Right.
So when you take into consideration the fact that Lopez is the one calling the shots, when you take into consideration the fact that Haney was not the mandatory, but Kambosos was. And when you take into consideration the fact that there was $10 million on the line to fight Kambosos, it made absolutely no sense to fight David Haney at that point. I don't know what your thoughts are, A-Rod, but that's just my take on that. You've been quiet, my brother.
I'm letting you guys talk. I mean, my thing is Haney came out a little bit too late in the game. Coming out like talking stepping inside of the ring, getting in people's faces to call him out. I mean, you should have did that a little while back. That way you can earn some fans to be able to. I mean, like Mikey did, pull Ali Setback in your gym and have him follow you around all the time. Pick up fans like that because, let's face it. I mean, that's how people are getting a lot more fans, a lot of more más fama, ¿me entiendes? By having that camera right behind you, talking about what you're doing and what you're gonna do next. Who do you want to fight next, and why do you think that you're gonna beat them? And you know what I mean? But this guy's been in the shadows. He hasn't been talking, and now they want to come out and talk in these channels and get in the ring and do all this talking. Oh, I'm the man, and you're a little bit too late.
Yeah,
for Ryan to come in and just put you to the side with his fame from YouTube is that cabrón, bro.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. I just want to remind people, man. Go follow me on Twitter at Raw Boxing TV. I finally opened the Instagram account. A lot of people were requesting, so it's also just Instagram. At Raw Boxing TV, man. The conversation is interesting, guys. Chat Perez, I agree with your last comment. I actually find myself liking DAZN a lot more than I used to. I think that PBC is messing up. I think Golden Boy stable is hurting. Top Rank should switch it up, and if he's gonna start doing what he said about putting $20 pay-per-views all over again, maybe that's a good move. We just don't know. But I totally agree with that. With your last comment. Look, in the case of Devin Haney, man, to be honest with you, Devin Haney is going to be one of those boxers that unless you have the pretty boy Mayweather charisma, you're not going to go far. Because here's the deal. People see that you're a very good fighter, very good boxer. People see that you do not have a committing style. And then people on top of that see that nobody wants to fight you. I don't know. See, the difference with Mayweather is he was able to drag you into the ring with the mouth first, with his past as Pretty Boy. Because when he was Pretty Boy, he fought everybody and beat them. So my whole thing is, what does Devin Haney has to do? Man, he's in a tough situation right now, socially, when it comes to the eyes of the boxing fans. I hope that the move with Mayweather Sr. brings something good out of it. I would personally like to see Devin Haney make great things in boxing. I always appreciate a boxer, but again, my only beef was that double damn standard that his father was.
It was nasty, and that's why he opened up his own. He opened up his own Pandora box with that. But outside of that, just if you look at just his son's career, he's made it very easily, very easily. And so, on the inside game from all the other boxers, they see who his son is. They're not intimidated by him. They don't see the grit. I personally believe boxing is, look, man, you come from the ghetto, you're gonna be a tough, gritty, mean boxer. And if you're disciplined, you're gonna go far with that. But when you're a Richie Rich kid, I'm sorry. I would like show me one Richie Rich guy who came out from a goody good home, right, with all the money in the world in a mansion and became a world champion, a real world champion. I don't know one, And so I think as talented as he is, I don't think he has the grit. I mean, you look at Lopez's face when he's ready to go, and that boy means business.
Yeah,
he means business, and any of the other fighters, they mean business. But I don't see that out of this kid.
And notice the difference, man. Notice the difference. On the Haney side, you had the father talking, and you have the son talking, not necessarily in YouTube, but talking around on other social media platforms and Twitter. He's tweeting a lot. But on the other side, it was Lopez Sr. doing the talking. I'm hungry, and Lopez Jr. just simply staying back and saying, yeah, I'm going to fight it. Yeah, well, this and that, And then the only thing I heard him say, I wanted to protect Devin, but I'm tired of him. I'm going for that kid. There's two different things happening here, man. And at the end of the day, whether it hurts or not, Lopez calls the shots. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion. Edwin Solano, welcome, my brother. How you doing, man?
Yo, what up?
We're here, brother.
Hey, it looks like Devin Haney is getting the Bubu Andrade treatment.
Could be.
It seems that
Very
way.
similar. Bad business moves, a lot of bad publicity. Could be. You might
Yes,
have a
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then Teofimo Lopez, dad, looking good, looking like he's a genius and crazy.
I mean, he
everything
does look
is
like a
coming to
genius.
fruition again.
Everything he's saying is coming to fruition.
He pulled out of the.
Everything he said
pulled out
about
of the
Devin Haney's
WC.
dad is happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chad
so
Pettis. Chad Pettis.
that's my comment. There's something wrong with my phone, so I'm gonna get out and try to
I
get
got
back
you,
in.
brother. I got you, brother. Chad Pettis and IBT, man. You guys are welcome to come into the channel and share your back and forward there, man. As long as we keep it as respectful as possible. You know what I mean? Let's see this. Let me get to this comments real quick. Raw Boxing TV. Did you hear Bill is stepping down from? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, brother. We've been talking about that. I know you just made it in, but it's nothing serious. Is he's not really stepping out completely. He's just gonna he's still gonna be in the corner. He's just gonna let somebody else take the or carry the heavy load. I guess you can say. IBT Boxing Truth. Welcome, my brother. Thank you for being here with us.
Yo, hello. How you guys doing?
You're doing okay, brother. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Good to see you. You guys doing well?
Let's see if Chat jumps in, man. Chat, come on in here and get this smoke, brother. We're just keeping it boxing, man. We're just chopping it up with boxing, man. Ain't no hard feelings here.
You know, I was just that was just a question I had for the panel. I'm not sure if you guys covered it while I was going from YouTube to StreamYard, but you mentioned that you believe the Golden Boy stable is essentially deteriorating slowly. I think most notably we saw Alvarez leave, right? And that's the big move kind of people notice. But I was wondering if you guys truly think that that his stable is thinning out, or it was just that mega fighter he has isn't quite there anymore. Because if I look into recent memory or look slightly into the future at like the Jojo Rakimov card, or like the one we just had with Ryan and Luke Campbell, that one had one title fight on it technically, but you know, we also had 2 top 10 lightweight contenders face off, and we had that WBA regular champion at 130, Rene Alvarado versus Roger Gutierrez, and that was a war. That was a good fight as well. So, you know, we're saying that their stable isn't as good as it was before, but they're arguably producing the most well-rounded cards in boxing. Like, you don't really see.
Ain't it?
Am I breaking up?
No, I'm saying that what you're basically implying is more in the side of matchmaking than actual stable members. But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm really sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just saying I think their cards are more well-rounded overall. Like they have good prospects, then you'll see top contenders or champions, and then you'll see the main event.
Okay, that's an excellent question. Chat, I know you want to take a bite since we're going back and forward. Welcome, once again, my brother.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
No, I mean, we're just kind of going back and forth talking about Ugas and, you know, stuff like that. But, I mean, as far as Golden Boy, yeah, I was telling IBT Boxing in there that, you know, it's all about the matchmaking for Oscar. They've got the best matchmaking team with Gomez over there. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of these other promotions are missing out, is just in that matchmaking department. They, you know, with PBC, it's a whole different thing because they have a lot of like slick black, you know, boxers or just even slick a style in general. I mean, look at Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is not necessarily like a really fan-friendly fighter. You know, he's kind of a boxer puncher.
What up, Dave?
But yeah, that's just where I'm at with the matchmaking. I mean, what else were you guys talking about?
No, so to go to the question of IBT, man, I think that that your question is more involving the matchmaking, as Chad stated it, but also it's not just the Canelo movement. Remember, it took Golden Boy some serious sitting down and talking to be able to hold down Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was out the door, man. Okay, Ryan Garcia was out the door. Can you imagine what would have happened to Golden Boy promotion had Canelo left, had Ryan Garcia left? Can you imagine what would have happened? So I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, that doesn't fall so much on what kind of quality do we have on the stables. It falls down to the matchmaking. That person that sees two fighters, sees their style, and is able to create that fight in their mind and like, let me put this two together because they're about to give us a show. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your question is very fair and it's a very good question, but I think it's separated from the fact that matchmaking and who's on your stable is two different things, man.
Yeah, it's fair. I think that they probably do the best with what they have in comparison to the others. I think the others probably have a more they probably have better stables, but they don't make better matchups.
Rap star, put eBay on hold and jump in here. But to answer your question, man, I think Shakur Stevens is a better boxer.
Absolutely, hands down. Can't even flinch on that answer, Shakur.
Sure, man.
Hey, y'all ready for that Michelle fight?
Oh my gosh, man! Listen, no, don't bring that up, Chad, because I want to do a live on that one.
Okay.
What fight?
Burchell versus Valdez.
That's gonna be a good fight, bro.
Man, it is gonna be a good fight. Let's just say that now and leave it there.
Question: Is it Top Rank or is it Golden Boy? I can't remember.
Burchell Valdez is Top Rank.
Top Rank. Okay.
Yeah, and seeing that's what we're talking about there, man. IBT. Now we're talking quality of fighters. Valdez, Alacran. Now we're talking quality of fighter, and then on top of that, that's good matchmaking because, in my opinion, Burchell is going to kill him. But the thing with Golden Boy is, yes, they have very smart and knowledgeable matchmakers, but little by little, they lack in the quality on boxers. And remember, you can get a very good fight out of two low-level opponents if you can match them correctly. I'm telling you that. You can get two very good fight from two low-level opponents if you match their styles correctly. If they complement each other in the ring, they can go in there and look like world-class boxers, man. World-class brawlers. But at the end of the day, it wasn't so much their quality as fighters. It was that they complemented each other's style. And we've seen that throughout history in boxing.
That's how it was in the old. Sometimes the undercards were so much better than the main event.
Correct. Yep. Correct. And that's why I was telling people earlier that I know that in boxing throughout history, we've had the low-level fights. But the low-level fights back in the days were matched perfectly, man. They were matched perfectly. And that's why we got so much excitement out of them.
That's the rub with PBC, man, is that every single fight, it seems like it's a master class, you know? It's like it doesn't help us appreciate those moments like a lot of, you know, who kind of thrives on that style because there's so much of it now on the PBC side. And it's not hating, it's just reality. It's like, okay, I love the sweet science. I love it. But it's not a niche kind of thing anymore. It's more of a common thing over and over, like on the PBC. And I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over. You know, I do want to see some phone booth fights. Correct. And that's what we're kind of missing right now.
Correct. I think it was a Milcar that I was listening earlier that he stated something that is very true. You know, we, the hardcore fans, we can appreciate either a brawl or a fight between two scientists in there. But the casual fans, which are the majority sometimes, the casual fans looking for a phone booth. It's looking for that toe-to-toe brawl. And it's a fair assessment. It's a fair statement, man, to be honest with you. But I think we got some good ones coming up. I think Burchell, see, here I go. No, I got to stay away from that. I can't talk about that one, man.
It's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a good
fight.
I can't wait.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Let me say one more thing before I have to get off because I got to go to work. Se no me golpea la tóxica. All right, man. I think we're going on too much in boxing at the moment. Is too much waiting around. I'm waiting on Teofimo. I'm waiting on Ryan. Bro, there's a lot of fights out there that you can make that give you a lot of credit. Go get those. and tell the guy, I beat this guy more decisively than you did, or like the leftovers from Delfimo or whatever, you know? If he fights a Nakatani, how much credit can he get? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ryan or Haney. Go after Loma. Loma's trying to get another shot at that title, so give him a shot at your title. And if you beat him, then you could get that Delfimo. Because you never know. If you're waiting around and not doing nothing, and Delfimo takes off to 140, what are you gonna do then? I mean,
you got to do the same thing he did before, man. Just get another free belt.
you gotta get your ass in there, and you gotta build your own legacy. You know what I mean? And you can't just be waiting on everybody else to do it for you. All right, everybody, to the channel, to the chat. I gotta go. Nice talking to y'all. Thank you for having me on.
Have a good night at work, man. Thank you for being here, brother.
Right,
Reps in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Yo, my brethren, to all the people in the channel, to all the people in the panel, man, smash that fucking like button. Raw Boxing TV is working overtime.
Always, brother. Always, man.
Hey, listen, do you mind if we speak about boxers from England and other countries for a few minutes?
I don't mind.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about boxers from planet Pluto if we have to, as long as they're boxers.
So how do you guys feel about Josh Warrington giving up his title and not wanting to fight Kid Galahad in a rematch?
I'll let you guys chop that one. Because of my absence in boxing, I'm still not educated on those
Is
two.
anyone educated about that situation?
No,
right now?
you would have to educate us.
But you can educate us, man. Go ahead.
So Josh Warrington is the IBF title holder, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a world title, and not long ago he made the decision to give up his world title to go and fight another fighter for interim fight, which means he's giving up his own world title so that he doesn't fight Kid Galahad. Now, boxers are making decisions like this, and it seems to be more favoring their fight purse for longevity in their career. I just think if you guys don't know about the Josh Warrington situation, it's a proper duck move. The man gave his world title up instead of fighting a rematch.
Damn.
Yeah, that's bad news, man. And this is what's going on. Because look, at the end of the day, he had a very hard fight with Kid Galahad. It was a very, very controversial fight. And it was boring. People didn't like it. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're giving up your world title and you're not going to fight the guy who gave you the hardest fight. This is not what boxing's about.
Nope.
This is not what world champions do. They don't fucking duck from a hard fight. And this is what's a kind of a pattern. You know what I mean? There's a pattern going on. People
That's the new generation, man. That's what this new generation is all about. Unfortunately, hate me for saying it, but that's what it is. They want the soft road. They want the easy road out. Honor, legacy, integrity. You know, wanting to beat the best, to be the best. That doesn't mean nothing to these kids anymore. It doesn't.
That's why I give a lot of credit, Rapstar and HLD. That's why I give a lot of credit to fighters like Kazuto Ioka for calling out, for wanting his very next fight, for wanting to move up in weight to fight somebody like Inoue. You know what I mean? A 4-division world champion telling his trainer, hey, yo, my next fight, I want to move up in weight to fight the monster, Inoue. You know what I mean? That's the kind of fighter we want to see nowadays. That's the kind of throwback fighter mentality that we're used to seeing, those that have been watching boxing since the 90s. You know, that's the kind of thing I want to hear in boxing. But what you just said, my brother, totally shocked the hell out of me. And I got to go see who this guy is, because that is, here in America, we say, I don't know if in England it's the same thing, but here in America, there's this thing says, if he walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, is a duck. Damn, that brother sang like a duck, quacked like a duck, and worked out like a duck.
And I just want to touch to another conversation, if you don't mind. And I'm touching on the fighters in another side of the world now.
Yeah.
We can't just be covering America, you know what I mean? So you do guys realize, right, that Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk is a done deal?
Yes.
For the WBO.
Is that confirmed?
Well, they've just today. Eddie Hearn said that it's virtually done now. So
okay.
So can I say, for that WBO interim title, Joe Joyce and the winner of that fight, let's just keep it honest. do you think he becomes the number 3 heavyweight and Deontay Wilder now has to fight back to get that position? What do you think about that?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real. Let's keep it real.
What? Watch this. Deontay Wilder has kicked himself in the back with all of this controversy. With all of look at this. Tyson Fury is looking for the bigger fights, right? Deontay Wilder, instead of looking for something else to fight immediately, he's still sleeping in his house. He had the opportunity to engage on the third fight with Fury, and he waited until the contract expired to then come out publicly and say he had gloves in his hand, a medal in his hand. And the Bible says in the book of Proverbs that if you steal, this is and that. He started playing all that game after the contract had expired, and then started saying that Fury was ducking him. No, my brother, the man just moved on because you allowed the contract to expire. And now he calls the shots along with AJ in the heavyweight division. That is just it. And at the end of the day, Rapstar, to go back to your point, if Joyce wins, he should be placed over Deontay Wilder, regardless of what Deontay Wilder have done in the sport of boxing, regardless of his record, regardless of his 99% knockout ratio. There's fighters out here not making excuses and putting in the work. So it's your turn to put the work and put yourself back in the in the good positioning of the mind of the fans. You know what I mean? Shane Maddox here says Roy Jones Jr. wanted every belt. We need that type of mentality. Roy Jones Jr. wanted all the belt. So is everybody. Look, Ricardo Finito Lopez will forever be one of my favorite Mexican fighters. Why? The man retired undefeated, but he didn't retire undefeated because he wanted to protect the O. He fought everybody. He just so happened to beat him. He didn't give a damn about his O. He put his O on the line against a bunch of credible, tough, world-class fighters. He just so happened to beat him, right? That is the fighter I want to see all over. So, Rapstar, keep chopping up with that.
Yeah, I just want to finish everything for the casual fans and all these fake channels which are pushing narratives. And let me clean this up right now. Deontay Wilder is not even going to get a fucking fight with the winner of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
Facts. Thank you.
Okay, Deontay Wilder's out the picture now. He's now has to chase himself, get back in the limelight. He's out the picture. Everybody needs to realize that in that fight there's going to be a rematch clause, and that fight could be a trilogy. So Deontay Wilder's done, and then the winner fights from Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk. The winner fights Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. So Wilder's out the picture. Let's keep it clean. Wilder is totally out the picture now.
Hey, Rapstar, what quick question. Who does Deontay Wilder, in your opinion, need to fight in order to get back into the picture?
There's only one fight for him. There's only one fucking fight for Deontay Wilder to prove that he can still get into the picture. And I don't reckon he'll be able to beat him. You want to know who it is?
Yep.
Andy Ruiz.
Yes.
Yep. we all had the same consensus.
I agree with
I
you.
was thinking too.
Andy Ruiz, Deontay Wilder is a massive, mega fight in America.
Yeah. Now watch this, Rapstar. I was talking to Joe Joyce's trainer, Ismael Salas, the other day, last week.
Yeah, I saw that, bro.
Yeah, and well, after we got done with that live, we chopped it up for about 10 minutes in private, and what he was telling me is he's worried at the fact he may not be able to train Joe Joyce for this fight because of all the travel bans. And so my question to you is, since you're more familiar with Joe Joyce, I mean, I'm familiar with him, but he's one of your countrymen, and you might have a little more knowledge. If Ismael Salas doesn't get to train him, you think he can still pull out an upset? Because I got to tell you this before we go into it. I have him beating Usyk. He's too big. You got to remember, when he fought Usyk first, he was barely starting his career.
Yeah, you know your boxing, bro. That's true.
You know, he was barely starting his career. So I have him beating Usyk on this one. But my only concern is, damn, if Ismael Salas, which is the brain behind the operation, is not able to train him or be in his corner, do you think that's going to have an effect in that fight? In your opinion?
Yes. Because you're facing a man who has got most of the best pedigree in the world in Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is not meant to be taken lightly, even
Correct.
though he had a rough outcoming as a heavyweight against Derek Chisora. Remember this, Alexander Usyk ups his level if you up your level in the ring.
That is correct. He adjusts as the fight.
Thank you.
And
Derek Chisora never put him in that situation, bro.
And you know something, Rapstar? That is something so rare on fighters these days. We got fighters that either come in with a plan A or plan B. But rarely do we get a fighter that's like, okay, so what are you doing? Let me see what you're doing. Okay, let me adjust to it. Oh, so you switching it up on me. Let me switch it up on you. We rarely get those fighters anymore. The fighters that are able to adapt to whatever the opponent is bringing forth. You know what I mean? And I definitely agree with you when you say that Usyk is one of those. You know, this would only be his second campaign in the heavyweight division. But, man, I just think Joe Joyce has gotten so much better than when they fought the last time. IBT, you're quiet. What's up, brother?
Yeah, no, I just think Ismail Salas is an invaluable asset to any corner, right? I think whatever corner he's operating, he's going to have a major role. If you're like Daniel Dubois' corner, I'm not sure what his trainer's name is, sorry, but they were at a major strategic disadvantage in terms of both experience, age, power, size, amateur experience, and even training corner. Like the Ismail Salas is telling him to work the jab, move off the line, use his feet, don't let him get back on the ropes, and then Daniel Dubois' corner is telling him, push forward, keep doing what you're doing, when it wasn't working, right? So they were giving him very linear, basic advice that wasn't helpful, whereas Ismail Salas was able to dig deeper a little and actually give him some specific advice and some specific scenarios to look out for. I think if he doesn't have Ismail Salas in his corner, he will surely be in just a massive strategic disadvantage. Whereas if he has him in his corner, he has a lot better chance. Even though they fought before in the amateurs and Usyk won, you know, I would say that Joe Joyce at this juncture is probably more well-equipped to defeat him. And it's not like, you know, even though he won there on points, it wasn't like it was a dominant points win, right? All the rounds were close.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a real 50-50 fight. I'm not sure if I'd have that winner as the number 3 heavyweight, because a lot depends on, like, if Povetkin beats White again, I think it'd be a little unfair to bump that guy above Povetkin, or, you know, if Reese and Wilder fight and that guy emerges, you know, it depends all on that. But yeah, certainly they'd be like a top 5 heavyweight, I'd say.
I got you, brother. And you know, Punch Drunken in the building. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? I hope everything's going good for you. Everybody, our local sports is going to be starting his live here in about 15
Man,
minutes.
I'm not interested in him. I'm interested in Raw Boxing TV.
Nah,
I'm interested in Punch Drunk. I'm interested in the real shows, bro. Conor Loco's biased, but that's just
Nah, man. Nah, he's my homie, man. Conor is a good Conor.
Hey, can I just say this though? I want to make a big statement. Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, Alexander Usyk, Joe Joyce, they're much better boxers. Pedigree better than Deontay Wilder. Everybody agrees?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think Deontay Wilder's in a bad situation because he's never fought these kind of guys before for boxing.
He's been exposed as, I mean, I know that word is used a lot for a lot of other bullshit things, but he's been exposed for what his career has been created. You know what I mean? It was a facade. And let's keep knocking him out, and let's keep not getting these bumps so you can knock him out and blah blah blah. But it was against who? Nobody that could test him. And when he was tested, he lost every round, which was with Ortiz and with Tyson. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's in a tough spot because his facade has already been stripped. We already know who's behind the curtain for the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? And he's not the real deal. And that's
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay. I was talking to Salas about that fight because I was curious. I was like, damn, how can Ortiz had a perfect game plan that night, was beating this man every single round, and then all of a sudden he just gets dropped with a punch that everybody saw coming. And what Salas told me, I said, I have to go back and watch that to see if it's true. Man, and it's true. The corner actually tells Ortiz, don't move so much, be a little more stationary, wait on the counterpunch. And Ortiz started abandoning the counterclock move. And that's when Wilder was able to catch him. More power to Wilder. I'm not knocking Wilder for that. And boom, got him out of there. But my whole thing is, when I saw that first fight with Ortiz, when I saw the second fight, I'm like, damn, we literally have a guy here losing every single round just being dependent of his power. Then I see him fight Tyson Fury, and he literally loses every single round except for the knockdowns and the last round. And my whole thing is, this guy is bound to get exposed anytime now.
Facts. It was going to happen sooner or later, Raw Boxing.
Yeah.
It was going to happen sooner or later anyway.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I think, in my humble opinion, I'm not hating on Wilder. I think Wilder can bounce back if they make the correct move, if they socially control his image a little better. I think that if Wilder comes back, man, it needs to be against Andy Ruiz.
He's not going to be able to beat Andy Ruiz or anybody who knows how to box. He's not going to be able to.
The only way Wilder can come back is if Wilder goes to the bridgeweight.
That's what I was thinking.
I think if Wilder goes to the bridgeweight, he got a good chance to win at what's the bridgeweight? 215 and below? What is it?
Up to 224. I thought it was 224 and below.
I think. But has anybody even fought for that title yet? Or is that
no, it's starting out from WBC.
This is another one of those things from the WBC, of course.
Yeah, I think Wilder got a good opportunity to go into the bridgeweight. But let me just tell you this. How does Wilder beat Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk? These guys have got a very great pedigree, bro. Yeah. And Tyson Fury has shown everybody how to beat Wilder. Be first at the punch, don't have respect for his power, and make sure you just keep taking him out of his game plan until you get him. That's it.
So let me ask you a question, Rap Star. So basically, when it comes to Wilder, from what I'm hearing you think Wilder is a done deal. So you don't think he can bounce back because, in your opinion, he's probably going to lose against Parker, Joyce, Ruiz. You think he can actually? Do you think Wilder can be the Wilder again? And do you think he's going to value Bridger over heavyweight champion of the world? Because he might push himself to 226, 230 to remain in the heavyweight division.
The problem with Wilder is we saw Wilder when he stepped up with King Kong Ortiz, how he was losing those rounds so convincingly, right? That was his step up. Now, he got lucky with a 50-year-old fucking Ortiz, which got tired. And because he got tired, I mean, let's be honest, it was made for him, right? That fight, Ortiz, is not fucking Joseph Parker. It's not an Andy Ruiz. They're not fighters which are young and hungry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're not fighters that depend on a blood pressure pill to remain, in good health.
And that's where the Wilder team messed up.
I love Luis Ortiz, but at the end of the day, the facts are that the man has blood pressure problems. And when you go up there to fight a championship bout of 12 rounds versus a younger guy, and you do not possess the chemical in your body that helps your blood pressure controls a lot of aspect of your energy, a lot of aspect of the way your body is functioning. So you take away the blood pressure pill and you don't have a fully functioning Luis Ortiz. So when I saw that, man, I'm like, Wilder's about to get what's coming for him. So,
well, they cherry picked his entire career, and where they really messed up was cherry picking Tyson Fury, thinking that because he was out of the game for so long and 400 pounds and being having his mental issues and addict issues, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna clean this big boy up. He'll be easy for you, and we'll tag on his name that he beat Klitschko or whatever, and they ran into the wrong man.
Yeah. True shot, man. Any other day I would, brother. I would, but I'm gonna finish my show whenever we finish it here, man. And I have to call it quits because I'm traveling tomorrow. But any other day, that I'm all for it, man. But look, man, at the end of the day, when you look at Wilder, man, I was very excited by Wilder when it comes to the way that he was giving us knockouts. Because let's be real, I love the sweet science. I love a pure boxer. But I also love to see people on the floor. That's just a fact, right?
Yeah.
But man, when I saw the way he started playing into the narratives being pushed around YouTube, being pushed about these racist channels, and he didn't do it through a tweet. He actually came out on a video and did it. That dropped my energy for Wilder completely. It dropped it. I lost all respect for Wilder because here's the deal. And I lost all respect for Cunningham. I lost all respect for all of those sparring partners because here's the deal. And I'm going to speak here based on experience. When you wrap a professional fighter's hands, the palms are not covered. The palms are not meant to be covered. You only create what is called the bridge grip, which is meant for the fighter to feel like it's gripping onto something, because it's very weird to go 12 rounds with just feeling your hands. When they came up with the whole thing of, well, you can see the knuckles through the glove, but you take the glove off and Tyson Fury still has his hand wrap over it, and they're still trying to push the narrative. Well, the wraps, even when the wraps are on, the knuckles are still exposed, and then Wilder doesn't come out and even try to fix things. Instead, he plays into the narrative, and then he uses the Bible to push his narrative. In the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, the Bible says, and then he talking about egg weight. My goodness, man. I lost all respect for the man. I truly do, man. And I hope he can bounce back. I hope he can come back and shock the world. But it's going to take a lot to gain my respect again.
Yeah, a long time ago when they started making these accusations, I went on to this Kaka TV because he was one of the biggest accusation motherfuckers, right?
Hey,
Listen,
man, he's the best one.
Let me tell everybody a story. So Kaka TV kept showing these pictures that the fingers are out of the glove and how the glove is halfway out, right? Listen to this. Now, first of all, when you take Tyson Fury's glove off of both fights, the fucking hand wraps are around both of his hands.
Yeah.
So how can you see his fingers?
Correct.
Right? They make these pictures and they make people believe these kind of pictures, which they do with Pictureshop, right? With Photoshop. But what I'm saying is Tyson Fury openly takes his gloves off on both the fights and shows you he's got hand wraps in both hands. Okay. So that kills the narrative there. Finished.
True. And they keep pushing it.
And they chucked me off the show faster than I could be on there. Because they haven't got an answer for when you're retaliating with a normal question to a question. There's no answer.
Correct.
It's just pure narratives. You're talking about a dent on your head, bro. If you've got a dent in your fucking head and you've got 3 doctors, this is what they're saying. They had 3 doctors look at Deontay Wilder's head and they told him there's a dent in his fucking head, right? Now tell me something. How come you haven't got a doctor's report and gone to court? Where's the motherfucking doctor, bro?
Not only that, Rapstar, well, watch this.
The doctor's fucking dead now. Is he gone missing? Is he?
Watch this, though, Rapstar. And this is another logical questions the fans or whoever should have asked themselves. I believe my water got spiked, and that trader of Mark Brilliant, he played into them. But wait a minute. If your water got spiked, that means there's chemical in your blood and your urine. Why is it that you passed the post-fight test if your water was quote-unquote spiked, right? And if anything, that little bag that was in the floor, I could easily say that was smelling salt that JD was using to keep you alive, because that tractor called Tyson Fury was just running you over like a rat on the road. You know what I mean? So the thing is this. All of the excuses that have been made can easily be debunked by anybody with boxing experience. And that's why it makes me so mad. Somebody like Cunningham is somebody that I have a better respect for. Somebody like Cunningham was just butthurt that Tyson Fury beat him and came out to try to compliment the excuses that were being built. And then somebody like Wilder, the champion, the kryptonite, the alpha male. I used to look at Wilder as the kryptonite of that weight division. For him to come out and play into the narrative, that did it for me right there.
He had nowhere else to go.
So Rapstar over there in England. I know you're in Bristol. Is that where you're at right now?
No, I'm in East London, bro. Bristol's a fucking ghetto. But go on, carry on. Hey, Raw Boxing sent me to the fucking ghetto, bro.
Yo, man, you know, he said,
Damn.
the man, the brother over there, man, he got to be from the ghetto. Oh, man.
Yo.
Hey, I come from a rich part of England, bro, but carry on.
What did people used to say when the excuses started coming out over there in England? Was that something, a hot topic in England, or was it ignored?
Look, I'm going to keep it real. Same thing I told Punch the other day, I think it was last month, that Wilder had a lot of fans, whether you like it or not. A lot of people liked Wilder's exciting style of knowing that he can get punched up and then he can knock you out. I mean, Wilder had fans from different parts of Europe, but they stopped rocking with Wilder now. Because the reason is the same thing as Raw Boxing said. A lot of people got integrity. And when they see a man coming out with any facts, no facts at all, and pushing narratives himself, he lost a lot of respect that day. Okay? And you got to keep it real here, man. You know, all these fans from Germany, Italy, I've got different people. They come on my show, they speak to me, they email me. They say these channels which are race baiting, and how Wilder has race baited against Tyson Fury, and how these LDBC channels every single day, had it been, you know what I mean, they're basically, you know, they've been nasty towards gypsies, Tyson Fury, calling his baby a cracker, calling his wife a cracker. What do you think all these Europeans are doing when you're making all these accusations?
Disgusting, man. Just to clarify this question being posed by the chat, Knockout Boxing 86 TV. How about the logical question as to why Fury is doing everything he can to try and duck out of a contract he signed? Real simple, my man. Real simple. And again, if you truly feel confident in your argument, there's the link. Come on in here and we'll talk about it. But to answer your question, my man, if you and I sign a contract right now, okay, that says we have until this day to get together and say build a sandcastle. Let's just put it that way. Some stupid stuff. But they say until November the 13th to build a sandcastle. And you keep waiting and waiting. And November the 13th comes and you're still silent and you're still not here. And November the 13th goes. November the 14th at 12 o'clock in 1 second, not even 12 o'clock in 1 minute, 12 o'clock at midnight in 1 second, that contract doesn't exist. It's a thing of the past. It's a thing of the past, regardless whether it's a pandemic or not. Because the wording on the contract needs to clearly state that unless it's due to a pandemic, the contract needs to still be acknowledged. Perfect example, in soccer, Lionel Messi tried to leave Barcelona because of some wording in the contract. But the pandemic came. They weren't playing. The season ended, meaning he had the right to leave, right? But there was some wording in the contract that had nothing to do with the pandemic that kept them in Barcelona, in that sport as well. Contracts are to be acknowledged, period. When you wait for a contract to expire, paperwork speaks louder than our own word when it comes to a contract. Our own word are speaking while a paper is silent, but in the legal terms, the judge is going to value more what the paperwork says and the dating on the paperwork than anything I could say, even if it sounds good, even if it's logical. So I hope that answers your question. But again, if you want to come in here and pose the question, this is not LDBC. I am not a part of them. This is not a channel where you're going to get disrespected, and I will not allow you to get disrespected. This is not a channel where you're going to get quiet, timed out, kicked off. This is a channel where if you have a point of view, I want you to feel comfortable to come in here, drop your thoughts, and we'll chop it up. Period. But I hope that answers your question, because people still need to realize that at the end of the day, the contracts have an expiration date, and that date comes and that date goes. The contract is a thing of the past. Period.
Yeah, let me add on to that. There's a lot more to it than just even the contract date. They had you had a 30-day clause for Wilder to sign this rematch clause. Now, what nobody talks about is that Wilder had surgery on his bicep in April of last year, and he used that to get an extension, to keep on pushing out the date for the rematch so he could sign the contract and get it going.
That's
and
facts.
every time that it got closer again, he kept on pushing it out.
Ding,
now
ding,
the firm belief is that while he was trying to actually recover from this bicep surgery, they're trying to see if they can fix Wilder to be able to fight Fury and do something about it. And as time went on, they kept on finding out, man, I'm not ready to fight Fury. He's gonna kick my butt again. And they kept on pushing it all the way through December. And that's when Fury said, you know what, enough is enough. And it was like 6 months or so that they were been trying to make this rematch happen. So it was beyond just that it was only, that there was a contract not to be honored. No, all he had to do was sign it, and it's good. Let's do it. But he kept on pushing this timeline because he was not able to get himself ready. Not because he wasn't ready from his surgery. He was not ready to fight, period.
True.
And so when he made that fight to be had in December, let me go to arbitration. Let me make it seem like I'm not trying to duck this guy. And blah blah blah, and here we are now in February with arbitration and whatnot.
True. You know what I think about this whole excuses that have been created, man?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You know what Deontay Wilder needs to be back in the game?
He needs some milk.
And that's a fact. Because I just, respectfully wise, socially wise, morally wise, I don't see me having any respect for him anytime soon. Now, if he fights, I'll watch, because at the end of the day, I'm a boxing fan.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm a fight fan. Anytime there's knuckles being exchanged, I'm there. You know what I mean? Whether I like both fighters or not. And besides, I got a platform here that I have to create content for the people that follow me. So I have to respect the fact that although I may not like this fighter, some people in my channel might like it. So I have to push out the content for them, right? But when it comes to me having the respect I used to have for Wilder, even after he lost to Fury the second time, because let's be real, he gave Fury a chance and then he kept his word and gave him a rematch, but there was paper. And Fury and Wilder acknowledged the rematch and the paper for the second fight. But then the third fight was never respected. The contract was never respected on Wilder's side.
And let's be honest, Wilder has two of the most powerful people in the boxing federation.
True.
Al Heyman is one of the most powerful guys in boxing. If Wilder wanted that fight, Al Heyman would have got him that fight. Okay? This is a way of Wilder to get out the fight. Now, let me tell everybody this. We've been watching boxing since kids. The beating that Wilder took, like Bernard Hopkins said, Jamal Charlo said, Floyd Mayweather said, Ricky Hatton said, that beating like that, you can't take a rematch straight away.
Thank you, sir.
Logically, the beating he took, in the way that Wilder is today, in the mental state and the beating he took, he's not ready for that rematch. And we all know it. We can see it.
And how will he come back?
He's got to fight. The only way he can come back, he's got to fight Charles Martin. That's it.
Stop it. That's what got Deontay Wilder into this mess in the first place, man. That's what got him into the mess in the first place, fighting all these crappy competition. Like,
Hombre Cristiano.
I am too, brother, but I get his point. Chat, I'll give it back to Mike. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just got to say this. I get his point, though. Sometimes I find myself having these thoughts, man, that I'm like, sal de ahí, Ranger, you're a Christian. Get the hell out of there. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get his point. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good, man. Again, it comes down to PBC protecting their fighters way too long. Like, if you remember going back to, like, Bermain Stavern, when he fought Bermain Stavern the first time, he didn't put a beating on him like he did the second time, because Bermain was really fat, but everybody was talking about, oh, man, Deontay's got some boxing skill. Everybody looks like a Floyd Mayweather against a tomato can, dude. Like, the landscape, again.
As a low opposition. No tomato can, please. Low opposition.
Very low opposition. The landscape, when Deontay started taking over, we remember the Klitschko's were everything in the division, and it was boring because they were just picking them apart, right? Well, that's exactly what Deontay did. He just picked apart the leftovers. And so, yeah, he probably got this complex after he knocked out Bermain that, hey, everybody's going to fall to my punch. But Tyson Fury's a different kind of animal. He moves, he switches. stances. He's elusive. He's not the same kind of fighter. And you're right. I mean, after the first fight, he didn't take a beating. The second fight, he took a nasty beating. Like, he was bleeding everywhere.
Hey, how many people have seen a beating like that and seen a guy get a rematch? Come on,
Dude.
in the history of the sport, tell me somebody who took a beating like that.
Rocky Balboa.
That's perfect.
Nobody fall out. Who fall out? Somebody fell out. All right. They'll have the link. They can come in. So my man Shane Maddox here. Shane Maddox will be one of my co-hosts whenever I try to implement a little bit of MMA here when we get some fights that I like. So he says here, the ego is to blame for all of these excuses. But here's the deal, Shane. It didn't even start with Wilder. Wilder did came out and said something stupid like his suit or whatever the case might be. But the fans, the channels out here, the racist channels in the YTBC, YouTube boxing community, were the ones that started coming out with the nonsense excuses of, the hand wrap, the glove bending back 90 degree, that. And then what made it worse, Wilder played into the narrative and came publicly with a video to inject a little more of that narrative. That's what caused him to lose all.
Yeah, and these LBD dick riding channels are full of shit. And let me tell you why they're full of shit. First, they said Wilder didn't say nothing for 8 months. He's quietly been psychologically working it out. And now that he finally spoke, why don't we believe him? Motherfucker, he was twerking after fucking 2 weeks. He was twerking in front of his children, bro. Happy as fuck. Making that 10, 12, 15 million dollars. He didn't look like he was under stress. He fucking twerking away on his barbecue. You know, somebody took that fucking video and they put it out there or whatever it was. So don't say Wilder's been fucking sitting back trying to work on this fight, bro. And I believe what Punch said, that you took so many extensions and then you put Tyson Fury in such a situation to make him inactive. So he said, go fuck yourself. If you're not going to sign the contract, I'm not going to keep waiting for your fucking ass. Go back to the fucking LDBC channel and go and sit on your fucking channel and dick ride. Because these people are not interested in this shit, bro. People are not interested in these excuses and bullshit, bro.
Had he just stayed quiet, because really right after the fight, he mentioned had some other things going on. That was the only excuse I heard out of his mouth up to that point. About the suit, that was JD who put that out. That wasn't Wilder. That was JD who put that out.
Okay.
But the only excuse I heard from Wilder, his mouth himself, was, yeah, you know, no excuses. I mean, I had some other things going on, and that was it. That's what he said right after the fight. But after that, it was JD who said the costume, talking about the costume or whatever, and then everything else started snowballing. Had he just stayed quiet, and they would have just, hey, you know what? Let's take the time. Let's get some other fighters in between, and then you could come back and challenge, you know, Tyson again. But you know, they ruined his career.
Definitely, after seeing this situation, it reminds me of an old saying I used to hear that says, it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought of a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Sometimes you just got to keep your ass quiet.
Yeah, but how fake was that video? He premeditated that video. Look at the video. Look at this. Look at this. They put music on the background. Some music on the background of the video. They really pre-scripted this. And you can see it. The
And
whole
he had
video is fake.
He was having issues reading the script in front of him as well. He kept pausing and trying to carry on what he was saying, and then you heard that you kept hearing that Llorona music in the background. Yeah, it was disgusting, man.
Yeah, I think that fucking LDBC must have sat with him and made that video with him.
Plo, welcome back, brother. What you got to say in this matter?
I just got a quick comment. There was a guy on here. I think he's still on here. I'm not sure which guy it was. I was talking about the fingers. The fingers and the gloves. All right, Rap Star. All right, there we go. What's up, Rap Star? Salute.
What's up, my brother?
I was just gonna make a quick distinction between the fingers and the knuckles. Okay, because earlier on you did say like he took off his gloves and you could see that his hands were wrapped, so there's no way you could see the finger.
His knuckles.
Gloves.
Sorry, his knuckles.
Yes. It's the knuckles, because when you're wearing a horsehair glove after a few rounds and it gets juicy and wet, you could tell Tyson Fury's gripping his hand in that glove. You can see the fingers if the leather gets pulled back. You can see the lines of the fingers sometimes, but those are not the knuckles. That's all I wanted to say.
And you have
a distinction between the fingers.
Thanks
and the
for
knuckles.
clarifying that, because sometimes we speak fast, and it's good for you to come and tell us it's how it is.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these people in these pictures that they're putting up, like they're showing pictures of the part of the glove where the fingers are, and they're seeing these ridges where the fingers are in the ridges, but that's the front part of the glove where the fingers are. If you actually put on a boxing glove and you see where your fingers are, you can pull it tight and see if it's a horsehair glove. You can pull it tight and see the fingers, but that's not the part that's hitting you. It's the knuckles that are hitting you. And obviously we saw when they took the gloves off that his knuckles were wrapped just right, and they also had their guy in their JDs to watch the wrapping. So I'm not down with the Wilder excuses. I am a Wilder fan, but I do like him. But I think the excuses are bullshit, and they should stop with that shit.
Yeah.
So
can I ask him a question, Raw Boxing, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, I know you're a Wilder fan. I respect you've come here very respectfully, and I appreciate that with you. But I will say, do you think this has hurt Wilder's brand? Because Wilder's brand, he was a warrior. Let's not lie. The man's a warrior. And now it looks like his brand is in a very bad situation. We got to look at it from outside the world. Now, not look at America only. Wilder's brand has took a big hit. What do you think about all these channels? Can I ask you, what do you think about all these channels and the way they push these narratives? Could you answer that, brother?
Are you talking about me or Raw?
No, I'm talking to you, sir.
Oh, okay. For me, as a Wilder fan, I've always tried to keep it rational, right? Because I'm not just a Wilder fan. I'm a boxing fan, and I'm like a boxing aficionado. I'm one of the originators of the YTBC from 14 years ago. So I will never put my fandom of a fighter over my fandom of boxing in general. And I have to say that it has definitely hurt Wilder and his reputation. If I were him, I wouldn't have said any of this stuff at all, even if it was true, even if they did have evidence. I wouldn't have said a damn word if I were them. I would have just kept it moving, got the rematch, beat him, been real careful with watching him wrap his hands the next time around, beat his ass, and then come out with all the stuff from the second fight after I already beat him in the third fight. That's what I would have done.
Does that satisfy you, Rapstar?
Yeah, I mean, in some respect it is, but we got to keep it real. Wilder's brand is really in a bad situation.
I just said that.
Yeah, and look at the people which represent Wilder. And look at these people that Wilder actually.
But not everybody who likes Wilder is like that, bro. You can't put everybody.
Like Raw Boxing said, Wilder actually pushed the narratives himself. And that's what made us lose respect for him, bro.
When he came out and he said the thing about the egg weight and all that stuff, I was not with it. I'm not with all that.
That you're with it, Hypo. We're just simply speaking in general, in, I guess a general term. Look, when as a fighter, I'll give you this, for example. If I'm a fighter and I am respected amongst the boxing world because I have this record of knockouts and I am the former heavyweight champion of the world, and I lose a fight, and I start hearing my fans creating all sorts of excuses, right? If I'm honest to myself and I know is that not to be the case,
you tell them to fall back.
I tell them to fall back, or even if I stay quiet, I'll just stay quiet. You know what I mean? I won't even make a video for it, against it.
Well, in one sense, he did stay quiet for a while, but
not
he did,
really,
and
because
but then when he came out and started talking, he was pushing that narrative himself.
so he made it.
That was the mistake.
Sure. So remember one thing. It doesn't matter if he was quiet for a while. Okay. He should have cut the head of the snake immediately, because here's the deal. What he did, he allowed the narrative to grow. The narrative went from boxing to race, from race to social issues. And then instead of him with his personification, with the alpha male imaging that he had, instead of him coming out and putting a stop to it, regardless whether he was early, midway, or late, he added more fuel to the fire, my brother. And that's why
I agree with that. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in him.
So his
as one of his fans, and I believe that he definitely hurt his brand.
Absolutely. Of course.
And I'm gonna let out something else to everybody right now, and it's a proper fact. Just before I met Raw Boxing TV, Wilder's camp, I spoke to somebody in Wilder's camp, and there's a friend of yours, Raw Boxing. I don't want to call his name, but if he wants to come here and speak about himself, then that's okay. But there's a couple of channels that Wilder's camp approached early on, and they said to us, would you push this? And because we wasn't interested, they cut us off. Now, I'm going to tell you this is a fact. And, after, behind closed doors, I'll tell you who those channels are. You know them, Raw Boxing.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. And I think I know.
And if he wants to come on here and he's listening now, he's more than welcome to come and open it up and tell us.
I know
this is the truth.
But
Wilder's
bro, I
camp,
just wanted to come on and let you guys know there are.
I appreciate you, man.
There are
I appreciate
reasonable.
you, right?
There are reasonable Wilder fans out there.
Of course there are.
And I think that you're absolutely right. His brand has been damaged severely, but I would suggest, if anybody from Wilder's camp were to hear this, that they just take a fight and knock somebody out and put this behind them right now.
I appreciate you, Hyper, for coming in, man, and keeping it respect. As a matter of fact, I got to give you credit, because as a Wilder fan, you did something that none of this LDBC people
very
have,
respectful guy,
which is coming in here and stating your point in partial defense of Deontay Wilder. So I appreciate you for coming in here.
I still like him. You know why, though? Because he fights for his daughter, and I have a son, and I got to feel that, like, he came into the sport
how about Tyson Fury has 2 daughters, and they called his daughters crackers? They called his kids crackers.
I didn't do that.
No, but I'm just saying.
No,
how
nobody.
would you feel about that?
You personally, brother.
Bro,
about
I would never say that. Okay, because I'm from like a mixed background myself. Like, my mother's Puerto Rican and my dad's Russian, so like I could never call anybody any names. Like, I've been called every name in the book. Gotcha. So I would never hurt anybody based on that. That's a cheap insult. Like, call me an asshole, but don't like insult my mother, my father, anything. Like, you can call me anything. Don't call me a cracker. Don't call me a spick. Don't call me.
We'll call you a vodka rum.
Vodka and rum. That wouldn't be bad right now. But yeah, no, I definitely don't. I don't co-sign with any of that. And as a Wilder fan, though, I do want to see him come back. I do want to see him redeem himself, and I think he can, but not if he's caught up in all this excuse making. Like, when you get caught up in excuse making, that prevents you from going in there and seeing what you actually did wrong. So if you're thinking someone hit you with an egg weight, which would break the other guy's hand, I mean, let's just keep it real. You got an egg weight in your glove. You got one shot to hurt the other guy, because you're gonna break your.
Or you're gonna break your hand.
You're gonna break your hand.
I hear you. Well, Hypo, man, listen. At the end of the day, I hope that they do what you did, which is come in here, but they're not doing that. A lot of this channel, especially one of them that is basically my student, my student in the game before he abandoned his principles and started going towards the ways of the narrative. They've been posting out. Supposedly, they've been calling me out but they're blocking me. I don't block
Bro,
nobody.
I think I know who you're talking about, and I think that's all about keeping a subscriber base and
Correct.
keeping the money flowing.
Well, you can tell them if you're ever in their channel the way that you were.
I've never listened to a single video of that guy.
Okay, good. But for all of those LWC that are lurking in the dark, the link is there. And I'm not like you guys. This channel, Raw, that name Raw has to be a literal thing for me. Otherwise, I close the channel down. When I mean Raw, I'm going to tell you my point of view.
A real Wilder fan will keep it real. That's what
Correct.
real means.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate you for keeping it real and respectful, man. So you're welcome to stay. But I want to hear what HLD has to say, what Rapstar has to say, because we got 5 more minutes. And we'll be chopping it up for the night, man.
Yeah, all right. Well, I think when it comes to Wilder, I think he's done. He's not going to fight nobody else. He's not going to want to climb back up the ladder. He's going to wait what happens with AJ and Fury, and he's just going to want that one-time shot at the crown one more time, collect a paycheck and go into sunset. The guy's 35 years old. I mean, like, really, how much more does he really have in the tank to keep on trying to push this? And now nobody's
Keep in
afraid
mind,
of
he started really late, though.
No, that's fine. But the fact is the fact. He's 35, and he's not going to learn nothing new. And nobody. I mean, I don't think there is not going to be not one soul in the division who's going to be intimidated by him anymore at all. Not that aura is gone. Kind of like when Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas, that aura kind of, I'm not so scared of this dude no more. And they'll push on him now. And I think everybody's gonna be like that against Wilder. So I think he's just gonna wait for that one shot.
But not everybody's a 6'9". Not everyone's a 6'9", fucking 260-pound heavyweight though.
I got you, Hyplo. But let's try not to interrupt each other.
Neither was Ortiz, and that didn't matter to him. He came at him. And so I think everybody else is just gonna come at Wilder like, bro, we're not scared of you, man. Let's bring it. I got boxing skills and I got grit. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So I think that's where Wilder's gonna stand. He's gonna wait until the AJ and Fury kind of levels off, and if he's able to get one fight out of that, he'll get that paycheck, and right into the sunset.
Okay, so Rapstar, give me your thoughts. Then I'll post a last question. And after I post the last question, we'll go around the circle again, and then we'll close the show for the night. So Rapstar, give me your final thoughts on or your thoughts on this.
Well, I'm going to go all out on it. And because you're Raw Boxing TV, Rapstar's Raw as well. So me and you got the similar personality. That's why we gel. I'm going to say it as it is. And I don't want no one to get offended because I come from a multicultural way of life and my children are multicultural, okay? There was a very sensitive situation going on. This Black Lives Matter thing hasn't helped the Wilder situation. There's a lot of people in their emotions. They're not thinking logically. When this movement happened and the Black Lives Matter, and you saw Wilder say, I'm going to go and do this for my people. This situation which occurred afterwards is because of the movement and the sensitivity behind this Black Lives Matter situation. And the reason why all these people are in their emotions is because they just couldn't take it. It's too much, right? And let's not forget, a lot of people took that, made channels out of it, and used that against their own culture to make money out of it. They're actually using their own people and putting them in a situation just to make them feel like we're all black people, we're going to do this, we should stick together. What they're fucking doing is taking their own money from their own people and robbing them from lies. So if you want to be raw, Rapstar's going all out raw. There's a lot of emotional situations behind the Wilder fight, and that's why they're pushing these narratives for the Black Lives Matter movement, but they're using Wilder as a guinea pig, and then Wilder used himself. So do you get where I'm coming from, Raw TV?
Absolutely.
100%. And before I pose my last question, I will add to that right there. That is part of the thing, part of the things that I was saying at work with certain employees that were subscribing to this out there, this whole movement. I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, if you truly care for the well-being of your people, if you truly care for even your moral principles, you have to take a step back, take a deep breath, and analyze the situation outside of the narrative bubble so that you can come out of the truth. Because if you play into the narrative without analyzing it first, and you find yourself in a lie and you spreading it through your own kids, you're not doing any good. You are not doing any good because you know why rap? You know why HLD? You know why Hyplo? I cannot tell my kids every day that they wake up that they cannot be whatever the hell they want to be because the man's got the boot in your neck. I cannot tell my kids that I, their father, could be whatever the hell I want to be because I'm brown and the white man's got me oppressed. What I'm doing to my kids is I'm destroying their future before it even begins. So I get what Rapstar is saying. And if I've turned that into a YouTube channel, I'm actually going to steal this from Punch. Racism is very lucrative, extremely lucrative. So I get why they did what they did. And if you notice, a lot of these big channels today, they do 10 videos. Out of the 10 videos, 9 have a racial foundation. And then the 10th is half boxing, half racism. Why? Because it keeps butts in the seats, my brother. It's very lucrative. What I have to say to them is shame on you. Shame on you for coming out here pretending like you care about your people while at the same time subliminally killing them. Subliminally killing them. Subliminally trumping their future. And let me not go on because I can do another 5 hours based on this. And
no, that's a whole nother channel. That's a whole nother show, bro. Because me and you are now going to places that people don't speak about.
Correct. And I'm not afraid of going there.
So if we're going to go there, we got to make it time and we got to keep it real. We're going to make it facts and break it down.
Correct. So final question. We'll start with HLD, move on to, actually, let's start with Hyplo because he's his first time here. We'll move to HLD. Then we go to Rapstar. So the final question is, in order for Wilder to get back on top, does he need a good knockout plus a public apology, or not even that will return him his brand? Hyplo, we'll start with you.
I think the starting point is take a fight and get a good knockout. Doesn't really matter who it's against because everyone has him so low in their esteem right now. He's he's damaged his brand and definitely decreased his reputation as an alpha dog and like someone who's to be feared. And yes, the air of invincibility, blah, 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 has been diminished. So what he needs to do is just stop talking about this and take a fight, whether it's Charles Martin or whoever, Shannon Briggs, whoever it is, knock the guy out, get people thinking about, like that knockout and start to move past this horrible debacle that was the aftermath of the Tyson Fury 2 fight. If he can get that, yes, his brand will still be damaged for now and, in the near future, but he can then move on to get back into title contention. And, hopefully either Fury or Joshua can get that fight made. And there's an undisputed heavyweight champion now. And by the time that happens, he could get 1 or 2 good knockouts under his belt. And then people will be talking again. People will be going, okay, well, Wilder, maybe he can come back and do some things.
So to bring it to a closing, does your opinion include him needing a public apology in order to get his actual social brand back?
Do I think a public apology would be helpful to him? Probably not. Do I think it would be the right thing to do? Yes. Do I think that he's going to do it? No.
Awesome. Appreciate you for being here. Again, I want to thank you for all, coming in here and simply just having the fortitude to not only state your point, defend your point, but also keeping it respectful without any.
I appreciate you having me on. And, anytime you say Haplo, come on, I'm going to come on.
Well, anytime you see the link, you just come on.
Anytime you say Haplo, come on, I'm jumping on. That's what you
Gotcha.
did, and that's what I did. So,
Gotcha.
all right,
Let me-
all right.
let
And
me-
respect to the other two guys. Also.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
Hey, Hablo, nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you, man.
Anytime I'm doing a live, guys, and you see me shoot the link, it's free for all. Okay, it's free for all. So come in here, we'll chop it up. So moving on to HLD. In order for Wilder to bounce back not only from the sport aspect but from the social and moral aspect, does he need a good knockout plus a public apology?
A knockout against a quality fighter, yeah. Public apology is not going to do anything. Stay quiet, keep on grinding. Is he going to do that? Absolutely not. I think he's better off just, declaring himself to be what he is, just a spectacle, retire. And I like to see him fight Mike Tyson. I'd rather see that. I'd rather see old Mike try to beat him up. I'd rather see that because I don't think he's not going to beat anybody in the division who's a grinder. Anybody in the top 5, he's not going to beat. He is not. So I don't think there's not much else left for his career. He's 35. He's done.
Thank you for that. Rap Star, talk to me, brother.
Hey, man, first of all, I want everyone to smash this like button. I want everyone to subscribe to this channel and make sure you press that notification. The other thing I want to say is Rap Star is just going to keep it real. Before I'm a fan of anything else, I'm a fan of boxing. I don't give a fuck about politics. I don't have any emotional attachment to any fighter. They don't pay my bills, right? So Wilder is still a big attraction in boxing. He's one of our biggest attractions. If you want to put the top 5 guys, well, Wilder's a $20 million, $15 million fighter, bro. That tells you how big he is.
Facts.
Now, I think the narrative's changed. The reason why Wilder's going to still be a big attraction, a lot of people are going to pay to see him get knocked out. You see where the hate comes, where Mayweather had it, it creates a lot of energy. So raw boxing, Wilder's still going to be one of the biggest attractions out there. Whether Charles Martin does anything for him, I don't think it'll really do a great deal. But let's be honest, we don't even know where the fuck Wilder is right now, mentally, physically, and we would like to see Wilder just come back and be active. Do you get what I mean?
I got you.
And
Does he need a public apology, though?
Well, I'm going to get to that. The biggest thing I think for Wilder, if he beats Charles Martin, because I got to say because we don't know where he is.
Yeah.
I'm not too confident, right? But if he beats him, which he's supposed to, Wilder can redeem himself if he gets the fight with Andy Ruiz. Because if he beats Andy Ruiz, they're going to have to put him back in the mix. So that's his journey to get back. So we're finished with that. Whether he's going to apologize or not, I don't think that's something he's going to do. Because if he apologizes, you're talking hundreds of thousands of people behind him who push that narrative. They're going to hate him. They're going to fucking hate this guy, bro. So at the same time, I don't think Wilder's going to come out and apologize to anybody. But has Wilder's brand been hurt? I explained it. It might have been hurt from hate, but hate brings money. Let's not forget that as well. And is Wilder, are we going to watch him? Of course we are. We're all fucking boxing fans. We're going to watch Wilder, and that's just what we do. We're not hating on Wilder. See, get it straight. We actually love the guy. He's a boxer. You know what I mean? But we got to keep it real with what's going on. But it doesn't mean we're not going to support him and watch him. Okay?
That's a fair way of put it. To answer my own question, look, I know you guys think that a public apology is not necessary. And at the end of the day, public apology takes a lot of guts, especially after you have pushed a narrative that doesn't have enough weight to be taken to the courts. Because at the end of the day, everything that they were accusing Tyson Fury of was deserving of prison time. But what happened? The thing is, when you take such allegations to the courts needs to see enough evidence to prove your point beyond a reasonable doubt. And that was never the case. No such evidence was ever at play here. And at the end of the day, I do think that Wilder can come back, bounce back, and continue to be a sinister fighter in the heavyweight division. heavyweight, not Bridgerweight. I honestly think Wilder would rather put himself at 25 and a half pounds to stay away from the Bridgerweight because that
225.
Yeah, that name heavyweight holds so much water that I think he would actually go just a pound over to stay away from the Bridgerweight. I still think he can come back.
Yeah, but do you think he can ever be a world champion again?
Here's my honest assessment on
He's
that.
got too many fucking angles to get back there, bro.
Yeah, here's my honest assessment on that one. The problem is when you have power, sometimes that takes care of the issue. Now, he may become world champion. How long can he keep it? That's the real question. But I can tell you this also: if Tyson Fury keeps that belt in his waist, I advise Wilder to, if he's truly trying to become champion, I don't think Fury will allow that, because the first fight Fury went to play with him, and then the second fight we saw what he said, what he saw. So that's just my my opinion. But that's it for now, guys. I want to thank everybody that joined me tonight. It's been fun. We've been cooking for 3.5 hours. I want to thank everybody that joined me also, not only in the chat, but also in the live section. Raw Boxing TV is a channel that's open for anybody willing to state their point respectfully and unbiasedly. Raw Boxing TV is not a channel that's going to block you, mute you, or kick you out if your point is not hand in hand with what I'm trying to present. The proof is in the pudding. Raw Boxing TV doesn't run from nobody. The public challenge is there, and the key is publicly stated right here for anybody to open the door and come into the room.
So before I leave the building, because your channel's open, do you mind? I'm gonna because they never debated me before. But if there's Kaka TV or anyone in LDBC is watching Rapstar,
you're welcome.
Rapstar's ready to debate any one of these guys. So if you guys are ready for a debate and you want to come and push a debate, I'm ready to push any debate. And it's all facts, no feelings, but I'm ready for any one of them. And that's it, bro. Thanks for having me on your show, bro.
Anytime. Everybody subscribe to Raw Boxing TV. Hyplo apparently does videos. If you do, go check Hyplo out. Check out his content. Make your own judgment and then decide whether you want to subscribe or not. And we're here, man. We're working. So Rapstar, thank you. HLG, thank you for being here again, my friend. Hyplo, I've already told you, but I'll state it again. Thank you for stating your point, for doing it respectfully, and for visiting us here today, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Hey,
All right.
peace out, bro.
Thanks.
See you soon, bro.
Good night, my guys. See you around, Rapstar.
See you soon, brother.
All right,
We
Rob.
are out.